Here we go.
All right, everybody. Big movie news day. It is the Schmoes Know podcast. Christian Harloff.
And I'm Mark Ellis. I'm sorry, I'm distracted for a minute. I'm looking in the sky, and it appears to be a bat signal flashing over the city of Gotham. Who's going to show up?
I thought it was a Daredevil signal.
Dude,
okay.
I think the internet is broken.
It is.
Christian, Daredevil cannot see his own signal.
Oh,
he's
I
going to have some problems with that.
Okay. Sitting next to us is our lovely co-host, Tiffany Smith. Tiffany, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
I'll give her
I just got shocked because I feel like every week prior to now, you always say, like, our lovely, beautiful co-host, blah, blah, blah. It's never me. And today I actually got that as my real intro.
Did you give her lovely and beautiful?
Well, the reason that is because we don't have enough time to screw around. Here's how the show's going to...
Make Tiffany feel good about herself.
Yeah.
Now let's get to the big news, which involves the Superman movie and a very special character in the Superman movie and a very famous person in that role.
No, look, everyone knows. The internet is blown up since we are on our way here. We're going to talk about this whole story, just a quick breakdown. We're going to talk about the Batman story as much as we can until our guest Zachary Levi calls in,
which is a big
guest, man.
Yeah, exactly. From Chuck and from Thor 2.
And he started the Nerd Machine, all that stuff. We're going to talk to him. He's going to call in a bit. So until he calls in, we'll talk about Batman. And then at 8:30 to 9, Mayimbe is going to call in. He's got a couple more things to talk about. And then 9 to 10, we have Greg Benson from MediocreFilms, YouTube. But from 8:30 to 9, we'll talk a lot more about this Batman stuff.
This was a huge show already, guys.
Yes.
And then you get this scoop dropped upon it.
Right.
We are down one Katie Sackhoff, who was originally going to be here tonight.
Yeah, Katie's dog is not doing too well right now. So Katie is going to stay home with her beloved dog Meatball, and we wish her the best.
We're a dog-friendly podcast here at the Schmoes.
Katie will be here on September 5th. So
she's got a movie coming out the next day called Riddick, so she better show up for that one.
Right. All right. So a movie that's not coming out for another...
One scoop at a time, Tiffany.
In 2 years from now, the movie that we're talking about now is going to be coming out, and that is Batman versus Superman, Man of Steel 2. All right, so this news breaks.
Superman versus Batman.
Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. All right, so let's talk about it quick. And like I said, it's going to get broken off. But Ben Affleck, okay, gets announced as Batman. How do we feel about this? Schmoville at Schmoes Know, hashtag Schmoes Know podcast. How do you feel about it? Mark, how do you feel about it?
Well, I got the call from the editor-in-chief of the Schmoes Know website, Mark Riley. Nobody else was able to post this thing. Everybody else was running around doing stuff, so he calls me to post a story. He's like, hey, I need to do a story. And I'm like, I'm busy. Then he's like, Batman just got cast. It's Ben Affleck. And I'm like, yeah, I can post this one. I only take the good scoops for myself. Right. And my initial reaction was excitement. I don't know why that is. The first thing I thought was, hey, that's really cool. I'm really excited to see Ben Affleck play Batman. I think he's made some missteps in the past, particularly in the superhero genre, but I think that unlike some other actors, Ben Affleck can learn and grow from his mistakes. I think that his successes behind the camera is going to help him more when he's in front of it this time around.
I am not happy about it.
I just had that nice prepared piece.
It's nice.
Yeah,
it's very nice. Look, here's
you were ready for the debate.
But I was. But here's my reason why. And again, we'll get into it a lot later. But my thing is, I think Warner Brothers is very high off of Ben Affleck because of Argo and The Town, as they should be. Those are fantastic movies. He is an incredible director. I mean, a absolutely phenomenal director, and he was really good acting in movies that he directs. When he's not in movies that he directs that are big budget movies.
When he's just the actor, you're saying.
In big budget movies, he phones it in. And he's always smiling. And you can always tell that he's not really in it. I just don't believe. I think I would have liked to seen someone else, a lesser, not an unknown, but a lesser known actor cast in a role like a Carl Urban or someone along that stature. I think Ben Affleck is not going to vibe well with Henry Cavill. I may be wrong.
Okay, now Tiffany, you wanted like an unknown for this thing, right?
I really felt like it's such an uphill battle to come after Christian Bale anyway.
Yeah.
That having anyone come in that's known and has something established, it's just harder because we have this image of who Ben Affleck is. And so I was really hoping for a completely unknown actor to come in, or I wanted them to do something with the timeline that was different and have Michael Keaton come back.
That would have been cool.
That I think would have like blown everyone's minds.
Now, as much as this story is blowing our minds, we have a very special guest tonight on the podcast. He is joining us now. He is, and I'm sure he has an opinion on it. We'll talk to him about the story as well. He owns his own company called the Nerd Machine. He's going to be in Thor: The Dark World. We're very excited. We got to hang out with this guy a little bit at Comic-Con. Zach Levi joins us. Zach, how are you, man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hey, Zach.
Hello.
All right, now Zach, we're gonna talk to you about all the cool stuff that you've got going on, and the stuff that we were able to. I don't know how much any of us remember Comic-Con, but we'll talk about it anyway.
There's a lot of cool stuff in the Marvel world going on, but Zach, we want to get your opinion on some recent DC developments, particularly the casting of Ben Affleck as Batman. What's your initial reaction to this story?
Well, first of all, is my connection okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Just checking. I'm wandering around the streets of New York as we speak. Look, here's the thing. Batman has always been a very interesting franchise. To say that Ben Affleck is joining, a whole list of incredible talent and big stars is a pretty accurate fact. And I don't necessarily know that there's a right or wrong to this. I think DC and Warner Brothers, I probably thought long and hard about it, and that's the guy that they felt like was going to fill the suit best, and the utility belt. So I think Ben Affleck, I think he's a talented dude, and he's a talented director, and and he's got the jawline for it. So fuck it, why not? Or forget it.
Did you see those abs that he had in the town?
Yeah, and Josh, you're right. Fuck it. Who cares? All right, so Zach, now let's see. So I wanted to talk to you. Now we're going to go more into some other things. That's a big story. It's a huge story. Obviously.
And very nice politically correct answer.
It was
Zach. A
very politically correct answer.
That's not coming out for like 2 years. We want to get to the stuff that's happening now.
Yeah, let's talk about Comic-Con real quick because because Naveed Makalarji, who has co-hosted this show, is a good buddy of ours. He introduced us to you at your party, and I got to tell you, man, not only was it a fun party, and you could just tell how much you legitimately really care about your fan base and everything too. And can you tell us a little bit about how you started Nerd Machine and how it all came about?
Yeah, well, Nerd Machine kind of came out of being, I kind of I relate to nerd culture. I consider myself a nerd in many ways. I grew up playing nothing but video games and reading comic books and loving technology. I mean, kind of a nerd trifecta in that regard. And I was really lucky that Chuck kind of opened a lot of doors in that world, particularly at Comic-Con, and we got to go down and be like Beatles, and having fans, having connection with them, and in Ballroom 20, and I mean, it was a really amazing 5 years. But over those 5 years, there's a few things that I recognized, and one of them was I never saw one unifying brand for nerd culture. If you're an athlete, you've got Nike and Adidas and Reebok and all that stuff, or extreme athletes have Rip Curl and Quicksilver and Volcom and what have you. But if your sport is video games or comic books or something in that world, there was no apparel, there was no thing. And I was like, I want to make that. I want to be the guy who starts a company that gives nerds something to wear that says, I'm a nerd and I'm proud of it, and this is what I relate to. And then on top of that, kind of peppering in other things, little gadgets and gizmos and content and editorial pieces. I mean, we're still building it. It's a very free flow kind of business structure. But it's a very small company, and we're just trying to do the best we can by the fan base, because I really believe that entertainment, particularly, is completely driven by and should be driven by your fans. They are the producers, and I think we're going into a season of the future now, where even more so with direct-to-consumer content, you get to control, they get to control the fate of how things live or die, and I really want to foster that relationship with them and take care of them. So that's kind of where Nerd Machine came from, and we're still, again, building that out. And then in an attempt to kind of market Nerd Machine and also have some fun down at Comic-Con, because I love it so much, I started Nerd HQ. I wanted to create a place where I could sell my merchandise and get certain, points of view across, while simultaneously giving fans a really fun way to interact with their favorite celebrities, and give celebrities a fun way to interact with their fans.
Yeah.
And if you can do that all for charity in the conversation or cause that we do, and also the photo booth that we do, and And then on top of all that, just have some kick-ass parties and let everybody dance their ass off with no press, snapping photos the whole time. Just let people let their hair down. I mean, I learned a long time ago that Comic-Con is maybe one of the most potent, influential weekends in all of Hollywood. You have more celebrities in San Diego during Comic-Con than you do during the Oscars or during the Grammys or whatever, and they're all over the place. They're movie stars and they're television stars, and
they're having fun. Yeah, and they're having fun.
Well, yeah, you talked about dancing the night away. That's our Tiffany Smith right there.
Yeah.
And I know just exactly how exciting this party was because I missed it.
Oh, you missed it? Yeah, that's right.
I had a dalliance with a young lady. It took me away from Nerd HQ.
Dalliance.
But I want to know what it's like to have the coolest party at the coolest convention in town.
I want to tell you though. Can I tell you? Because I didn't tell you what happened. No, Zach hasn't heard my point of view on this thing too. Because I walk up and it's Petco field. I'm a big baseball fan, first of all. So I walk up.
Beautiful park.
Yeah, but it's set up. Everyone's dancing, having a great time. And here's Zach, and he's talking to all of his fans, and he's up there like a rock star. And
the cock of the walk,
more or less. And so Naveed walks up with me, and this is to show you how Naveed knows everybody. Zach's in the middle of talking to all these people. He sees Naveed and he stops talking to everybody. And he comes over and he takes Naveed and myself and Ken Knapsack and brings us over and he gives us some drink and he says, have a good time, takes off and has a conversation. And you could tell that the guy legitimately wants to have fun, but with the fan base that he's having. So again, thank you for that because we did have a good time, Zach.
Oh, my pleasure. No, absolutely. Look, I one of the things that I delight in the most is being able to facilitate people having a good time. I really dig it, and it makes me happy. When I see other people being happy, it makes me happy.
Right.
And I love, now that we're in our third year, I have people come up to me now and say, you don't realize this, but I met so and so at Nerd HQ. I am now friend. Certain actors saying that they became friends at a Nerd HQ party or at the panels. Certain fans saying, look, I never really knew this show, but then I watched your panels online, and I am a diehard fan of this show or this person now. And to me, that's the residual effect is the most fun. I think it's important to do just awesome shit in the world. And if you have the opportunity to do awesome shit, go do awesome shit. And we all do. We just have different opportunities and different levels that we can do it at. And I've been really blessed that I have a career and I've got, in Hollywood and that's opened doors for me so that I can try and build other cool things.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
well,
that people.
Well, speaking about some awesome shit, I got to see the trailer for Tiny Commando today.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I have to talk to him about this because Ed Helms, he created this, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. So basically, Ed, it's his brainchild. I mean, Ed is a big fan of remote control cars, vehicles in general, and always has been, and I think just kind of like any little boy or girl who likes remote control vehicles, when you're a kid, you think your imagination is strong and bold, and you think, oh, what if there was a little person that was actually in that car?
It's not just when you're a kid, Zach. That's happening for me right now.
No. Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. And for a lot of us, including Ed, that never went away.
Right.
And now we finally live in a place where we have tiny, amazing cameras that you can little 5Ds or even GoPros or whatever, where you can go shoot a show that can absolutely be legitimate online specifically, and make this really kind of larger than life or the opposite thereof of this guy who was shrunken by some gamma rays and now has some detective agency, and he's a tiny detective. And he's a
badass too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure I fight. Actually, I don't want to blow that.
Okay.
That'll be a spoiler.
Okay.
But yeah, so he's totally it's kind of like if the A-Team meets Magnum PI.
Cool.
A little bit, I guess, and Ed and I are the only two miniature characters in the whole show.
Yeah.
Jacobs and a slew of amazing guest stars, like all the funniest people that you see on television and film. Because Ed, knows everybody and calls in favors, and everybody loves Ed. And they were like, "Yeah, totally, I'll come shoot a day with you."
And how did you meet Ed?
I met Ed just in passing at NBC functions. You go and do an NBC press day, the TCAs or whatever, and all the shows are there, The Office and Community and Chuck and blah blah blah. And so we would just kind of, get to know each other in passing. I just always felt like he was just a grounded, funny, talented guy. I've always thought he was funny and talented. I love his work. But then when I got to know him, I realized, he's just a really grounded guy who loves playing banjo, and by the way, is very good at it, and also has, fun ideas like Tiny Commando. And so when my manager called and said, hey, Ed would really love for you to play this role of Tiny Commando in this little web series he's doing, I was like, yeah, cool, sign me up. I mean, I've got an opening in my schedule, and if he's behind it, I think he's gonna, he's striving for excellence, so it'll be fun. And it really ended up being just a riot. Like, all of my stuff was all on green screen, basically, but there's a few giant props I got to use. I really got to scratch my Honey, I Shrunk the Kids itch that I've had since I was a child.
Yeah,
that's funny. That's the thing about gamma rays, is that you don't know if they're going to shrink you or make you huge, but they're going to make you a badass.
Yeah.
Either way. Now, Zach, you mentioned your schedule and that you had a hole in it. Let's talk about that schedule, because there's a movie coming out, and I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Thor: The Dark World.
I've heard of it.
And you're starring in this. You're one of the stars of the film, and I wanted to ask, coming from a show like Chuck that had so many seasons of success, and then you go to a huge movie like Thor, what is the pacing like on set day to day? Is it a lot more hectic when you're working on a TV show versus a movie, or what's the difference in the feeling in actually making those?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, television is definitely the most hectic of schedules, I would say. Soap operas are actually, I've never done a soap, but I know people who have worked on them, and they are the most hectic. I mean, you're learning like 50 pages of dialogue every single day. And then a show like Chuck was pretty gnarly, and we were shooting, 10 pages a day, and you don't have time. You're on. Television is much more of a conveyor belt kind of thing. Like, it's coming down the line, and you shoot the scenes, and you're cutting the scenes, and it's on the air, and you shoot the scenes, and you're cutting the scenes, and it's on the air. But with a movie, aside from the fact that Marvel had a release date that they were sticking to, because they're, very on it when it comes to how they're kind of putting out each one of these products so that they can all fit together in the big Marvel universe, which I think Kevin Feige and et al. Have done an incredible job doing, by the way. But Thor was a much more like, there were not that it doesn't have some moments of hecticness or whatever where you're jamming to get ready, but sometimes the shots are massive. Like, you don't have the luxury on television necessarily to set up 500 extras and horses and explosions and
right.
Like, when something of that size, you need to have it all coordinated, and that takes a lot of time. So you could all be sitting around just shooting the shit, having a conversation for a little while they're making sure all the boxes are ticked, and here we go, and then you go and shoot it, and it's like wham, bam, blow up, da da da, and cut, and reset's going to take us another 30 minutes, and so then you go and sit down.
100 of the horses poop, so we need to reset the horses.
Well, Zach. Yeah. So you step onto a movie, first of all, and we know that obviously you're a nerd. You love the nerd culture, and obviously you're a comic book guy. Now, when you get the Thor audition, obviously you have a pretty great career, but still you got to be a little intimidated knowing how big Marvel is. And once you get the gig, how do you fit in? Do they have kind of a tight niche already? What's it like on set?
Well, no. I mean, honestly, I've known the people at Marvel for a little while. I had auditioned for the first Thor was when they got to know me, and then I went in. I went in for Captain America. I went in for Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, it's a family. It's a great family over there. So by the time I was doing Thor, they were very kind, and they were very open, and they knew me from the first time around in Thor. So that was very kind. And the cast was what I was most concerned about, because I was replacing Josh Dallas, and I don't like being a guy who's replacing anybody,
right.
that. You don't want to be the guy who took somebody else's job away from them, if that's how it's interpreted. But nobody interpreted it that way. I was grateful for that. And Chris and Natalie and Anthony and Tom and Jamie and Ray and Tadanebo. I mean, everybody was like, hey, man, welcome to the family. Glad you got to join us for this one, and let's go have a good time.
Is it so?
It's awesome you can call them all by their first names.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
exactly.
awesome.
Yeah, it's like he's like a dad that knew all of his kids' names.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He just said Anthony without calling him Sir Anthony.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
It was great. Now, again,
Actually-
are you a Game of Thrones fan?
Love Game of Thrones.
So-
Giant Game of Thrones fan.
All right, so then you're working with, I mean, the director alone. You must have been like how? I mean, obviously, did you know right away? I'm not sure how far along when the process was that you got the job that Kenneth Branagh already said he wasn't doing it. But like when you found out,
No. When I took the job, I knew it was Alan that was directing it, and I was very excited about
Okay.
it. I was a huge fan of his work to that point, and because I'm a giant Game of Thrones nerd. I love the show. One of the coolest things that's come out of Comic-Con for me is that I've gotten to meet Richard Madden and Kit, and I'm like, oh my God, you're of the House Stark. Hello. And they're lovely guys. Really, I mean, everybody that I met from that whole group is super awesome, and they're English, and they drink together, and they hang out together, and they're like family. I'm like, oh man, you're awesome. You're everything I want you to be. So yeah, that was a huge plus. I was like, dude, Alan Taylor. I mean, if that guy can make Game of Thrones look great, I think that Thor lives in a similar world with kind of it's not medieval, but it is a little fantastical in that regard, and so I was excited about that for sure.
And speaking of Comic-Con, you didn't do many panels this time because you were holding off your voice for Broadway. You're doing a show on Broadway now, First Date.
Yeah. So I had So we're actually currently. I just got done with the show right before I called you guys, but it's my first Broadway show. I grew up doing a lot of theater when I was a kid, but this is my first Broadway show, and I'm so excited. And so far, so good. We've had great audiences and great response, and it's a fun. That's exactly what it is. The show's called First Date. It's just that. It's a first blind date between a guy and a girl at a restaurant in New York, and all the baggage they bring with them, and the baggage that we bring with us on dates. The voices in our heads, be it our family or friends or shrink or whatever. And as this hour and a half date goes by, it's broken up with all these vignettes of us talking to the voices in our heads or crazy songs that burst out. And we were in the middle of performing. We started previews, which are kind of like they're kind of like rough drafts of the final show, but you still sell tickets to it. Mm-hmm. And so we had done a week of previews already. And we do 8 shows a week. Like, you really have to be careful about how much you're talking and using your voice, otherwise you can't sing. And the first 2 years I did Nerd HQ, I lost my voice entirely.
Wow.
From all the talking and the panels and the parties and all that stuff. So this year going into it, I was like, look, I need help. I need people that can do some of my job for me, so I don't have to talk as much. And so I immediately went to Nathan Fillion and Seth Green. Seth, his schedule was so crazy. He wanted to help me, but he couldn't because he was so slammed. But Nathan was pretty free, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I can help you. I can help host some stuff." And then Alan Tudyk also happened to be free, and Alan was totally game. And Alan had done Broadway before, so he was like, "Dude, I totally understand, and anything that we can do to help you out." And I can't even tell you. Oh, hold on.
It sounds like
Definitely
Batman has not quite arrived in Gotham City.
Welcome to New York.
that's Ed Helms for you almost giving away that spoiler. I could see Ed Helms showing up in a police car. He just knows.
Yeah, so you just got off stage doing the show, and now the best way to rest your voice is to not call any other podcast.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll have to do.
Yeah, well,
just us. So you can keep calling us to just stretch the vocal cords.
And I hate that we gotta let him go now soon. Zach, so a couple of questions though too, because I want our Schmoville to be able to see some of this stuff. First of all, if they're in New York, where can they see First Date?
You can see First Date at the Longacre Theater. It's on 48th Street, right up in the whole Midtown Theater District area. It's between 7th and 8th Avenue. Beautiful theater. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun. It's not high art. It's not highbrow. It's just relatable. It's kind of like an hour and a half sitcom with music.
That's fun.
And I think you'll really enjoy it. So
Well, and Zach,
we're running.
I'll brag for you a
indefinitely.
little bit that everybody that I've heard that's seen it Saw it multiple times. There were standing ovations. So definitely, if you're in New York, go see it. I know I'm going to come see it next time I'm there.
And then
Please do it. Let me know when you're coming.
Yeah, I will for sure.
And then Tiny Commando that comes out in September.
I think so. Yeah, I haven't gotten the latest update, but
Okay.
I think it's like September or maybe October, maybe early October.
Okay, and then finally, I believe Thor 2 is in November. So you got a lot going on right now, man. Congratulations to everything that you've got going on, especially the fact that we speak to the same audience. I do have a question that came in from Schmoville that they wanted to ask. They said, "Will there ever be a merger between the Nerd Machine and Nerdist?"
Oh God,
They were both in Petco this year.
I don't know. I mean, Chris is a buddy of mine, and I think what he's doing is epic. And I mean, I look at the guy in awe. Like, he has literally built an empire for himself, and it's so awesome. And I'm hoping to build my own empire in my own ways. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know that there necessarily needs to be a merger as much as I hope for great collaboration over the years.
There should at least be an annual softball game.
The Nerd Machine versus Nerdist, or bowling for that matter.
I've always kind of seen all of us, you know, be it like Seth and Nathan and Chris and Felicia Day and you know, whatever, like the various components that make up kind of like the kind of, you know, the class of nerds that we are in this time. Like, I feel like we're all our own lion, kind of cruising around the galaxy doing our thing, but, you know, I'd love to create Voltron every once in a while.
Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. And when you're back in LA, we would love to have you in studio because there's so much more that we could talk to you about. So when you're in studio, please, when you're in LA, please come join us in studio. For
sure. You guys, thanks so much for having me on. And for everybody listening, bless you guys. Thanks for listening. And tell Katie Sackhoff I love her.
We will do. All right, guys. So make sure also follow Zach on Twitter at Zachary Levi as well. So thanks again, Zach. Really nice to have you on the phone, and look forward to meeting you again, man.
Cheers. See you guys later.
Later on.
Bye.
That was a lot of fun. He's a good dude, man.
He seems like a nice young man.
The craziest thing about him is that he's so humble with everything, where it's like literally at Comic-Con, everyone was like, the Nerd Machine, Nerd HQ was the coolest thing ever. The panels are so good where it's just, it goes straight to fan questions. There's no really moderating going on, which I think a lot of people are really excited about. And
even when he pushed people away,
goes to Operation Smile.
Yeah.
I mean,
and even when he pushed people away, someone turned people away, he did it with a smile on his face, and he was nice about it.
Yeah.
He wasn't like a douche.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, that was
when he told a sweaty Mark Ellis he can't get in at 2:40 because the party's over.
Yeah.
What?
But again, that was a great. I mean, we could have talked to that guy for 2 hours.
Oh,
and
to call us right after he just got off stage doing
cool.
doing first date. That's incredible. I wonder what a first date's like.
Did you guys see Twitter too? I mean, the Schmoville is eating it up. They love him,
man. Because that's why when you legitimately care about your fan base, they can tell. They know. If you're like just like bullshitting like Nancy Grace or whatever the hell she does, like they will smell your shit the second you're in that toilet.
I think Nancy Grace cares about her fan base.
She does not.
All those housewives.
Fuck her.
Whoa.
All right, anyway,
and it's like I've heard that every night after the show, he stands out there and signs autographs and takes photos.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's like, when you really think about nerd culture, like Chuck kind of started the whole, I feel like, the really big nerd trend where it's like a cool thing to be a nerd and be that kind of like nerdy spy.
Yeah. We have breaking news. Nancy Grace will be playing Catwoman in the new Man of Steel.
Don't even joke about that.
We have breaking news. We have to go to a break. So we will go to our break. When we get back, we're going to dive into this Batman story a little more now, and I want to get all of Schmoville's thoughts.
Another phone call coming up after the break.
Mayimbe is going to be calling in. We're going to talk to him about his news he broke about Bradley Cooper with the Raccoon.
Maybe the Marvel news will make you feel better, buddy.
Maybe. All right. So, guys, for the Schmoes Know podcast, we'll be back in a second. Tiffany Smith, Mark Ellis, Christian Harloff. We'll be back in a minute.
Shake it up. All right. Welcome back to the Schmoes No Movies podcast. Over there is Christian Harloff and Tiffany Smith. I'm Mark Ellis. We were just joined by Zachary Levi from a number of projects coming up.
Everything. Under the sun.
The biggest one being the upcoming Marvel film Thor: The Dark World. And now we want to move back to DC because of this Ben Affleck playing Batman breaking news. But I want to talk about Ripped Apparel. Before we get into that, there is a new Twitter handle on the Twitterverse.
What is it?
It is Ben Affleck Batman.
Yep.
Already has almost 13,000 followers, and he only follows one Twitter.
Ben Affleck.
No.
Who?
Justin
Jennifer
Bieber.
Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez? That's
No.
Funny as that. It's a fake account, but it's already has
That's really funny.
13,000, Christian.
What shirt are you wearing right now? Because I got that question has come up a few
Well,
times.
look, I decided what I was going to wear. I planned what I'm going to wear on the podcast weeks in advance, so I didn't have time to change into like a Batman-themed shirt. I'm wearing my Ripped Apparel. It is a mesh of Battle Cat / Cringer from He-Man and Garfield. It is Garfield in the Battle Cat armor, and it is thanks to our good friends over at rippedapparel.com.
Listen there, and again, the code, if you guys want $1 off, you just type in SK Kickass for the month of August, and you should go there right now because there is a badass one. Speaking of our former co-host Katie Sackhoff, there is a mixture of both Battlestar Galactica and Star Wars, and it's the picture of them all in the Battlestar, but it's like the Emperor and Darth Vader. It's really cool. And then,
What? How have I not looked at this one today?
I would have
texted you
I
and been
knew
like,
you
"That
didn't.
one."
I knew you didn't see it because I didn't get a text from you. I got Ken Knapsack one. He won it once, but again, you guys should get one.
And the code is SK Kickass.
Yep.
Get $1 off the already incredible price of $10. You can get to Ripped Apparel. The easiest way to get there is right through our widget that we have on our Toad Hop page that you're listening to the podcast on right now.
Okay, so let's get into this Batman thing.
I have a point to make, despite your griping.
Yeah.
And here's what I'll say: is that you think that Ben Affleck is not good unless he's directing himself? Is that what I'm hearing?
I mean, in big budget movies.
In big budget movies, okay?
Yeah.
I got a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
When was the last big budget movie that he was in that he did not direct, that he sucked ass in, as you say? You want to bring up Daredevil? You want to bring up Reindeer Games? Those were a long time ago. And Ben Affleck is not Steven Seagal, okay? He's not Van Damme. He's not the guy that's going to make the same mistake time and time again until they live on a direct-to-video kind of thing. What Ben Affleck actually did after he made those piss bombs is he kind of went under the radar for a long time. The only time you saw him was in Us Weekly when celebrities are just like us, and he's buying coffee, and he's keeping a low profile. And then he started coming back, rebuilding his image, being a great director, acting in his own films. I think he's learned from his mistakes, and I think because of that, he knows how precious Batman is to everybody, and he's going to knock this out of the park.
I think that's a good point. But I just
it was like 3 points.
Listen, I think that was
it was like a 4.
I think that was a good
idea.
It was just one giant point with a bunch of little subtitles
it was a good
underneath.
soliloquy.
It was a spork.
Now, but the thing is, look, my problem again with Affleck too. I think someone grittier, like maybe like a Josh Brolin, would have been a better choice.
Just say who you wanted. You wanted Carl Urban.
Or Josh Brolin. Those are my two choices.
Okay.
Those were the two I wanted. I would have liked to have.
Brolin would have been cool.
I just think there's something about Affleck that it's when you see him, it's Ben Affleck. It's not Batman. You'll know right away he's the star. Like again, like with Christian Bale, you forget Christian Bale was not a huge star. He was known, but he was not a huge star when he did Batman. So when he showed up, he was still he was that guy that was in that. He's Ben Affleck. That's like if Leonardo DiCaprio was cast as Spider-Man. It's Leonardo DiCaprio first, the character
Here's the thing,
second.
though, and I have my hesitations about it. I'm a little bit worried that putting him and Henry Cavill together might be a little bit too vanilla, but I don't think that Warner Brothers is going to make a decision. And I know it could be like stunt casting or whatever, but I really don't think that they're going to put him in the role without putting him through his paces to make sure that he's going to nail this.
Yeah.
Because they don't want a stink bomb. Like, they know how much pressure
Yeah, but
is
don't
on
you
this.
think they have a deal with him also?
I mean, that could be, there potentially
They
could
like-
be some
like to
deal where
direct
it was like,
movies and
you
stuff.
get to be Batman if you direct X, Y,
At
Z.
least part of this is stunt casting. I mean, don't get me wrong.
There we go.
We know what that means. That means there's only one person that can be calling in with that music.
It's not Ethan Hunt.
It's not Ethan Hunt.
It's not Bobby Finstad.
On the phone, it is the man who breaks the mad
Thank
scoops.
God.
He broke one that we'll talk about momentarily, but I know he has his thoughts on Batman. It is El Mayimbe from Latino Review. What is up, dude?
What is poppin', cool kids?
That's an excited.
He is excited. He's got a lot because he knows. Because here's the thing. Look, El Mayimbe was on last week, and there was some stuff. Look, he's got a thick skin. He knows. A lot of times he'll post something that he says, look, it may or may not be, and people don't care. They'll go, oh, it's bullshit. Didn't come true. Well, What happened 2 days ago? He said that Bradley Cooper was going to be cast as the voice as Rocket Raccoon in Guardians, and
Guess
then
what?
Variety goes ahead and reports that he's in talks to play it. So he's back on the validity.
He's a baller. He keeps getting up to plate and taking cracks.
And he just hit one out of the park with that.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk, before we get into that, let's talk about Batman here, Mayimbe. What did you know about it going into it? What do you know? What else can you give us?
Well, I first mentioned it back in February. Everybody's retweeting that old tweet that when the Justice League / Batman vs Superman thing was going on, they approached Affleck about playing the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So then yesterday, when I first announced that I had a huge scoop, which led to the Rocket Raccoon scoop, WB Publicity was blowing up my phone. What is it you know? Which led me to believe, hey, something's brewing over there. Something suspicious. Why would they come at me like that? For a scoop that I don't even have about theirs. And lo and behold, they by then already had their Batman. So they was, while I was scared of losing Rocket Raccoon yesterday all afternoon, they were probably scared that I was going to break the Batman. So I'm pretty sure after he said yes and they worked out some deal points, they went immediately with a press release. But I also told the world that they were going to announce the Batman before Labor Day, and for reasons that Miss Tiffany just said. They want to make sure they knock it out the park. So they're going to give him about 4 or 5 months of some serious prep, meaning physical conditioning, stunt training, fight training, going back and forth, with the script or whatnot. They don't want to hedge their bets because they start in February. But that's not all. I got a little bit of a little tidbit I discovered along the way.
Ooh,
What do you
some
got?
icing
What do you
on
got?
the cake.
What?
All right. So the production team was scouting very heavily in Detroit, the Motor City, as a stand-in for Gotham City.
So-
now think about it. If
Motor
we're gonna
City's
get an
gonna-
edgier,
Okay, so Motor
A
City's going to
darker
stand in for
Batman?
Gotham City.
What?
they're going to sub. They were looking at Detroit
Yeah.
as the sub for Gotham City. Okay, so if a darker, edgier Batman is what they're going after, I can't see a city. Detroit is perfect for that.
It is
You know?
perfect. You could have Ted Nugent, Kiss do the soundtrack.
RoboCop comes in.
RoboCop makes an appearance. That's exciting.
RoboCop.
What I'm really hoping for is a sit down with Ben Affleck and Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
think they're going to sit in chat and be like,
There's more.
so this is what
Wait,
works?
he's
What?
got something else.
What?
There's more. You know where else they scouted very, very heavily?
Who?
Morocco.
Oh.
The city of Morocco. Now check this out. Warner Brothers had 3 major productions in the last couple of years. They had Body of Lies there, Sex in the City 2, and most recently Chris Nolan's Inception. So what could they possibly shoot in Morocco or the Moroccan desert? And I have a theory. I might not saying that it's right, but could it be that the Moroccan desert is where either Bruce Wayne or Lex Luthor discover where the radioactive meteorite known as kryptonite is found?
Interesting.
You know? So that's something very interesting. So I got my little spies in that production team, so they looked at those 2 cities very heavily.
Well, and where does
Yeah.
where does he end up at the end of Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah, he ends up somewhere in
what-
Europe.
yeah, well, that's
in
the-
like Italy, I think.
But
right?
wait, so-
having a cappuccino.
I mean, we don't know where.
Yeah, but wait, but
Do
this
we?
That's
is
totally different from
yeah.
the
I don't
Nolan
think I don't
verse.
think Nolan's universe is going to tie in. I think this is a totally different universe.
This is a whole new Batman.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally different Batman. And it's an epic, huge win for both the studio and for the film and for Affleck himself. You know?
Yeah, it's gonna get press.
Nobody saw this coming, man.
No,
You know,
no.
but they got. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just. I agree that it is a huge story. It's going to do a lot of big press, and I just think that this, to me, it looks like they're going after the big star name when they should be going after a grittier kind of Batman. Again,
But
this
really,
could prove me
it's
wrong.
like with Ben Affleck, it's not necessarily a huge star name because people don't look to him. Like, I don't know that people go to a movie because it's Ben Affleck.
But that's a different argument.
Well, look, the thing that you got to remember here, though, is that we're all kind of in this machine, not as much as Mayimbe is, but everybody here, we're into this stuff. We pay attention to this
Yeah.
shit. People are watching their TVs tonight. They're watching CNN or whatever they see, whatever has a crawl text, and it says Ben Affleck is playing Batman
Yeah.
in Superman. That's probably the first that most people have heard that Batman's going to be in a Superman movie. So that's getting press
Yeah.
over all this Marvel
Yeah.
stuff. I think it's a nice move of one-upsmanship by DC DC, they wanted to get an actor who's famous who they know will make the commitment. Like what he was saying is that now he's got 4 and 5 months to go train and learn how to fight and get shark spray, all that stuff.
And who freaking knows if that means that Ben Affleck will then maybe possibly direct a little bit of the Justice League.
Yeah, you know what?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Not direct the Justice League. I'm getting in a good authority that not Justice League, but he might direct the standalone Batman sequels.
That he would be acting in.
Yeah, he's done that with The Town.
Zack Snyder is going to direct the Justice League movie.
Okay, so Ben Affleck then. All right, then now listen, that gets me a little more hopeful.
Oh,
Listen, because
what
did I say before? I said that he really gets me more hopeful.
Yeah.
Because that he commits when he's directing.
Mm-hmm.
If he has an incentive that he's going to be directing himself as Batman, then you might get a pretty standout performance from him. It's not just a paycheck. You cannot say that he has not done big budget movies just for the paycheck. He himself has said that he
did a movie called Paycheck for the paycheck.
But I also feel like it's so in the past.
No, he's not doing this for a paycheck. Trust me on this. There's a little bit of politics in play.
Yeah,
but
that got me.
Sure, financial security. He's probably getting $10 million up front and 10% of the gross. I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting 20.
And I gotta say, like taking on.
He just won the Oscar. Come on now.
Yeah, no, you got me with that news because it gives me a little more hope. But before we're gonna do any more Batman stuff here, let's talk about this. This news about Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon. Now, when did you hear this? When were you? I mean, how long were you sitting on this thing?
Wasn't sitting on it, bro. It was an active investigation. Okay, basically, I've been after the story for about 6 months. You know, I got to a point where I would even offer, when I heard something, I would even offer to other colleagues at the trades, yo, I'm hearing that they got the guy. So they were looking for somebody. They went after a couple of guys. They were looking for us for a comedic name. So what happened was Marvel had tried to cleverly put a plant in my organization. Fed me stuff, and it was too good to be true. Then I discovered that he was a plant working for Marvel Security. So they were very, James Gunn kept this to his chest. Everybody wanted to know who the Rocket Raccoon was going to be voiced by. So yesterday, when I found out, I had to sit on it for a bit. They just literally made the offer yesterday, and so it was a scoop that I had. This is the first time that I ever had to take an investigation on 2 different continents. I had sources here in the States, and especially sources in England out of the production and stuff. So once I got the word, did a little confirmation, and when midnight hit, boom. So if you think about it, Bradley Cooper's playing that wise ass of a guy in the Hangover sequels and the Wedding Crashers. I think a solid choice. And like I've always told you guys, Marvel is in the big name movie star business, even if it's for a voiceover part.
Well, wait. You speak of Marvel, by the way. I got a tweet in from a fan at Terry Trixie who says, "Ask El Mayimbe, what were you talking about on Twitter earlier with the false information from Marvel?"
Not false information. They had a plan.
Okay.
Infiltrate me and try to give me screws, try to pass off the legitimate. And I played around, but and he gave me a couple of things, but I sussed it out. And then once I discovered who he really was, he completely disappeared.
Got it. Okay.
I want to know.
Cool. So they tried to pull a fast one on me, but they got their comeuppance, and I got my revenge because I still broke, regardless of their interference. I still broke the biggest secret that they were keeping on that set in England out of damn New York, so they could eat them bananas for all I care.
Who's going to play you in the TV movie about this scoop? Because it involves 2 continents. There's probably a couple pretty women you can cast for this. Who's going to play you?
Who would I cast as me?
Yeah.
Who would I cast in Hollywood, man? Javier Bardem is handsome.
Nice. I like it. That's a good one. Okay, so those are 2. Look, you have proven yourself as the ultimate spy, and we love having you on the show. Before I let you go, now you might be responsible for me getting a big dinner here, and because we have this Star Wars.
You bastard!
We have this Star Wars fantasy draft that has been going on for months, and now today there was
a cinematographer. Is that what you got?
I got the cinematographer. Dan Mindel was announced today. So if El Mayimbe's report of the Emperor coming back turns out to be true, that will give me another point. And El Mayimbe, you have to tell me when Anthony Daniels gets confirmed because that'll lock it up. What's his deal? You hear anything on Anthony Daniels?
I'm gonna have to ask my partner that one, but I wouldn't doubt that the droids are not back.
Exactly.
Come on now. They're an integral part of all the prequels and the original trilogy. How are you not going to have C-3PO and R2-D2 back in
Kenny
in
Baker.
episode 7. Come
That's
on now.
me.
I see Kenny Baker. I don't think you need. You can stick anybody in there.
Any word on Peter Dinklage? He's on my team.
all right.
No, but I'm hearing a very, very big movie star that Miss Tiffany just mentioned not too long ago before I came on the air.
Who?
That you should be paying attention to. Oh,
I don't even know who I
right now.
Wait, come on, you got it.
Wait a minute, rewind the tape.
No, wait a minute. This is the thing. You got to give us something. I know that you gave us the goth.
He gave us a lot tonight.
I know you gave us the Detroit thing. I know you did. But
He doesn't speak for all of us, Al.
was
We
it
appreciate
someone-
what you've done.
he gave
Was
us
it someone that I said
it's
I
someone
wanted
it's-
that
to play Bruce
Christian
Wayne.
wanted to play
Yeah. Now,
Batman?
Can you just
Carl
because
Urban.
last week you gave us a guess and where you about the Ben Kenobi and I guessed it. You got to give me. You gave me credit on Twitter on that.
Yes, you get your props, bro. You had me shook. I'm like, how the hell does this guy know?
Who's he working for?
That's right.
got me there.
So can you get like what? Give us some like
talk
a
about
hint
tonight?
hint on somebody that's going to be cast in this thing, and then we'll let you go. A hint.
A hint for what? Star Wars or Batman?
Star Wars in the big movie star you're talking about in Star Wars.
Dude, I can't do that one because it's a major investigation right now that my partner's actually doing. Because I do DC Marvel. My partner Kelvin does all the Star Wars things. He's in the middle of a huge investigation.
Was it about Carl Urban?
Carl Urban?
You know, El, you should know this about Christian by now. He's just, if you keep feeding him, he's like a homeless guy. He'll
Or
just keep
Michael
coming
Keaton.
back.
That's true.
I'm trying to think of who I talked about tonight.
It's not his fault. He's from Bayside.
That's right. All right. Well, we're again always great talking to you, man. Thank you for joining us.
Or Josh Brolin.
Michael Keaton.
No, it's
Or-
not. Yeah, well,
or-
stop. She's not going to give
Let's
us.
let this poor man go to bed.
He's
She did
giving us
bring up
nothing.
Michael Keaton, though.
He's giving us
I
nothing.
did.
All right. With that, I'm going to say adios to our main man, El Mayimbe. Thank you for joining us,
Bye.
and we'll talk to you soon and look forward to the scoops.
I will keep my Christmas presents this
Hasta
time.
el próximo capítulo. Thank you.
All right. That was that was some good stuff. So what we got out of that one was that what?
You're like a kid that just got home from Halloween and you just dumped the bag upside down and you're like, all right, let's look at the candy we got.
What do we got? What
So
do we got?
we got a raccoon, we got Batman, we got a
You should be
city,
happy about this.
We got Morocco.
You should be happy about it.
Dude, Mark, you're going to be writing this article on schmoesno.com, so be excited.
Yeah.
As a new editor-in-chief.
I was miserable
Yeah.
about this before. He turned me around because when he told me,
I think my argument helped a little.
it did not. No, because Affleck getting offered to direct Batman means now he has an investment in playing the character. So that gives me hope that he's going to invest and not just there again for the paycheck.
I the more that I think about it, the more I'm like, he's not an idiot. Ben Affleck, when he did bad
you.
films, kind of backed away. So it's like, if he's taking on this role, he has confidence that he's going to do a good job at this. And he's got to be kind of scared and nervous about taking it on in the first place because he doesn't want to do a bad job. He knows how much is writing on this, too.
And speaking of confidence and nervousness, here comes Ken Knapsack, the producer.
Hello.
Wow, who'd you just shoot
You're
in the ditch?
so fancy.
You look so
You guys
good.
talking about me being cast as Batman?
I heard you're
That's
a
right.
Batman. Yeah.
Kenny, I want to tell you what a great producer of the show you are because you come in right as Mark Riley was about to make a point on the air.
Yeah.
So thank God you rescued us.
Yeah.
So what
Thanks-
else you guys want
thanks
to
for
talk
that.
about? No.
Thanks for that. No,
Riley, you had a point.
I have a good point here. I think it needs to be. The fact that they cast Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Okay. I happen to like him as an actor. I love him as a director. But this was my concern about Man of Steel 2. By casting Ben Affleck, it is eclipsing the Superman story.
Yes.
This movie is supposed to be Man of Steel Part 2.
Right.
Now it's Ben Affleck as Batman.
But
That is an argument I'll listen to.
But to counter argue that is the fact that we're also talking 2 years. They wrote the story 2 years before, so by the time we get to it, you're going to have more press together, and it's going to be more about Man of Steel.
I mean, it's
I
also,
totally
we
get
don't
it.
know
Yeah.
how much he's going to be in it. Like, it's not that
see,
he's
that's-
going to be.
He'll have a supporting role in it, but that's my feeling. But look, I know that we all saw the same movie called Man of Steel, and I hope Henry Cavill has more to do in the next one, but nothing in that
Henry
guy's
Cavill.
personality wowed me in the first one.
Watch
He was
the
just a dude
Tudors.
wearing a Superman
Watch the
costume.
Tudors.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on from Batman for a second because we have to cover. We have like 3 more minutes before we go to break here. So I want to. There's a couple of stories. I wanted to talk because Katie was supposed to come in today, and what I wanted. There was a lot of shoot, and there was an interview that she did. I believe it was Esquire, where she expressed interest in playing
Oh, yeah.
Harley Quinn. It blew up the internet. Everyone was talking to us. There's like half and half. Some people thought it would be great. Some people thought maybe not. I happen to think, and not because she's Katie and a part of our show, but I think that she would be great in the role because I know that Katie can get to that crazy level and really kooky. No,
I don't want to know how you know that, but yeah, you just believe that could happen.
You're an idiot. Like if you literally had seriously, you've seen her the sex evil genius that she's done. She's done movies where she could be a crazy person.
Well, the thing is, the half of the people that out there that don't think she'd be a good Harley Quinn are the other ones that are playing Harley Quinn in cosplay at Comic-Con, because there's like 9,000 of them down there, and they all look pretty good in that role. Yeah. I think Katie Sackhoff would knock that out of the stadium.
Yeah, you just because you got to be able to lose your mind in that role, and I think she would have fun, and she's expressed that she wanted to.
Yeah, but you wonder if that character factors in.
Yeah, I'm like, the hard thing about it is that without the Joker being there, like, who the heck is going to try and take over that role if they wanted to bring him back?
They're going to bring the Joker back. I mean, I don't know if they're going to bring him back in Man of Steel 2.
I mean, it's like that would be a really hard role to take on, and you kind of can't do Harley Quinn without a Joker.
I agree with you, and listen, I
don't. That's eclipsing the Superman story.
Yeah, that's all that conjecture.
No one's talking Man of Steel 2. Because again, if Affleck does a Batman movie, then you're going to have to bring
that.
back.
I'm okay. Right. I'm reacting off of the fan poster that had the Man of Steel Batman logo, which I think is great. I think it's awesome to have like the idea that Harley Quinn or Joker would show up in Man of Steel 2. But I'm fucking scared by this. Seriously, Man of Steel 2. It's supposed to be about Superman.
I know.
Spoken like a true Superman fan.
Spoken about a guy whose dog's name is Kal-El.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to do stuff where it's like Easter eggs here and there, where it's like little fun things, where it's like we might get to see the Joker alluded to or another character alluded to that we're not going to get to actually see in the film.
They should be alluding.
But it's kind of like in Man of Steel where we saw like stuff for LexCorp. When you rewatch it, you're like, oh, cool.
Right.
Lex Luthor is coming
they should
in the
be
next
alluding
one.
to the character named Batman, because this is going to completely submarine the franchise of Superman if Batman is in it too much.
Yeah,
I think what they should
have. Apparently, he's in 20 minutes. I think he's in like 20 minutes.
If that, I think what they should have done with Man of Steel is try to keep it as quiet as possible with the Batman stuff and have that as a tease right at the end of the movie.
But you couldn't.
I almost feel
you don't think you could?
I don't think so.
They had to come big at Comic-Con. Otherwise, if they wouldn't announce that at Comic-Con, then Marvel takes the stage. Like they already took the stage, but
they had nothing. It's the fact that, okay, like you were saying, it's 2 years out. So we've got 2 years for this to die down. If they announced this like a couple of months before the movie came out, then it would be all anybody was talking about.
Yeah.
But we have time to be like really excited, crazy, figure out whatever we think about it, and then time will pass and the movie will come out and it'll have like died down a little bit.
I just look at the facts. The fact that Ben Affleck directed all these movies for Warner Brothers. They gave him the role. He might direct the next Batman movie. I feel like the fact that Dark Knight trilogy made billions of dollars, I feel like they're looking at Batman as a savior for Man of Steel, which was mixed critically, which did well, but not as well as Batman.
I'll tell you what Henry Cavill's doing, what Ben Affleck is doing, and is running through chicks at this point. That guy has a different girlfriend every other week.
Does he?
Dude, I don't know any girl that if he asked them out, they would say no. And apparently he's a huge nerd.
Not a lot of guys that would say no. Can I say one thing right now? Is there any part of Christian Bale that's like, I just gave away
I don't think it was ever offered. I don't think it was ever offered. Like Naveed said, like $50 million, whatever.
They would have backed the truck up. It wouldn't have been $50 million, but they would have backed the truck up to get Bale back.
I'm sure there was a second where he thought it, but it's like one of those things where
he doesn't want to do it anymore.
He graduated. Yeah. He's done.
He doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
There's never going to be a time where you wouldn't have that thought of like, crap, did I make a mistake? But you're like, no, this is a decision I made for a reason.
Tiffany Smith, life coach.
This is a great point from at the best ever 2012. It's not called Man of Steel 2. Don't shit your pants, Riley.
Guess what? I'm shitting my pants. And you know what? Unfollow me. I'm mad.
Whoa. Somebody give him some kryptonite.
We can't take back.
It's a joke. Listen to me. I'm just reacting to the news.
You're a hardcore Superman fan, and you want your guy to stand on it. This is
But listen, Batman versus Superman is the title of the movie. Mm-hmm. It's the official sequel to Man of Steel.
I want you to sit down and think about what you've done.
Is it Superman versus Batman or Batman versus Superman?
I don't know. We're going to find out. But again,
guys, you think LeBron's taking over your turf?
Right. That was our news. Again, we had a lot going on. And before we go to break, I also wanted to say that Ken Knapsack, our producer, just came in the room. Adam Winkleman, the Winkleman Ken, was producing producing the show in studio for us. I want to thank him for that. Make sure you follow him. Tiffany Smith, Mark Ellis, Christian Harloff. And when we get back, I'm so excited to have this guy in studio. Greg Benson from the YouTube channel MediocreFilms will be here. And this guy, if you guys don't know him from YouTube, check him out during the break.
He'll hit you in the face with a mic if you don't know him.
Dude, he is so funny. I've known this guy forever. I cannot wait to talk to him in studio. And if you guys out there have a YouTube channel, you're going to want to listen to this interview because this guy knows how to make YouTube work. We'll be right back after the break. Schmoes No Podcast.
Could see decidedly that you're a 10 and I'm a 3. A royal breed is what you need. So how do you come to be stuck with a bummer like me?
Look at that. What is that? I like this. I don't even know what the hell this is, but I like it. It's
This is Eddie Van Halen noodling in his sleep.
You know what it is? This means that we're in for some shit because the guy we got in studio right now, I am very excited to have this guy in studio. I've known him actually for a very long time. And Mark, you and I started on YouTube in like 2008, and this guy was already a legend.
Yeah,
and he was already a legend.
He was already a YouTube legend, and to be honest with you, I have not seen Christian this giddy about a guest in a while. He's putting his fingers together like a schoolgirl who's smoking in the girls' room.
Well, because here's the thing, and I don't think I've ever told this. Without any further ado, I want to welcome Schmoville, Greg Benson from MediocreFilms. He's at Schmoville. How are you, man?
Thank you very much. I'm delightful, and it's a pleasure to be here.
You are delightful. Now, I don't think I've ever told you this, because we met in I think it was maybe, God, dating ourselves, probably like 99, 2000.
Is this a crush story you're about to reveal?
I hated you at first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like you at
No,
first.
we didn't get along at the beginning.
No, we didn't get along.
Yeah.
But
I want to hear about that.
But this is the thing. I remember what it was a conversation. I'm like, that guy's a dick.
Yeah.
And then
some people felt that way about you, when they first meet you.
I'm like, that's when guys don't get along, when he's kind of like me. He might be cooler than me. I don't like him.
Yeah,
but
and they throw their Sharpies.
But then, even feeling that, I saw him on stage. He did this skit about dead Walt Disney. Did you ever redo that thing? You did.
Yeah, Walt Disney in Hell. No, that has never been released for legal reasons.
It is hysterical, and it was one of the funniest things I ever saw. And I said, I don't care how much of a dick he is. I'll watch anything he does because he was really, dude. And then you started your YouTube channel in 2008, 2007.
Yeah, I joined in 2006.
Okay,
Yeah.
so can you? Because we have a lot of listeners that have YouTube channels and are aspiring. How did why did you go to YouTube? I know that you're a comedian for a very long time. You're a sketch. Why YouTube?
Well, it's because my wife made me.
Really?
Yeah. You know Kim. I mean,
course,
my wife is Kim Evie. So she and I met at Acme Comedy Theater, where Christian and I also met. And she was the one who, when I started making these short films and sending them off to film festivals, where tens of people would watch them at a time.
right.
On a good night.
Yeah. Honey, we got into the Branson Independent Film Festival.
Ooh, let's buy our plane tickets. So she said, well, first of all, I had to put them up on MySpace because that was the place back in 06, 07 where filmmakers were going.
MySpace was the jam.
Yeah, it was awesome back then. And then YouTube launched, and the first thing I saw on there was a video by The Lonely Island.
Right.
Who are these guys? And I met them actually
Andy
at a film festival.
Yeah.
We were all doing the film festival thing. So, YouTube seemed like kind of a cool thing, but at the time it was very early, and it was a bunch of kids who were lip syncing to songs and just kind of doing a bunch of stuff that didn't seem really like filmmaking. So,
is that a dig at what Christian was putting up on YouTube back in the day?
No.
You weren't on that early, were you?
Putting up garbage, but not but not trying to
He's gonna rip up that friendship bracelet.
No, but no stuff like my brother and I singing "Bad" at Disney when I was 13, just kind of stuff I didn't know how it worked.
Owning
it. So but again, not doing what you were doing as far as learning it how it was a business. You were one of the first guys with that whole Phil DeFranco era, and you jumped on it pretty quick.
I think early adoption has a lot to do with the success that I've had. Honestly,
you get in on the ground floor.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they were giving away channels.
Yeah.
But how did you do that? How did it work? And when did you first start? It's kind of a 3-part question, and then when did you start seeing results?
Can we do a 6-part question?
Yeah, sure. We'll do a 20-part by the end of this conversation for sure.
When did I first start seeing results? Well, the views were pretty much immediate. I joined in, I think, September or October of 06.
Okay.
Put up about 10 videos to start off with because I had a bunch of videos already at that point. A lot of them were sketches that I shot as videos, but things that I originally performed on stage at Acme. So put them up, and in the first few weeks, one of them was picked by I guess someone who worked at YouTube, and they put it up on the front page.
Wow.
And back then, when something was put on the front page of YouTube, it stayed there for a week and just sort of worked its way down the list because it was curated. And I got my first 1 million views right away, and I thought, whoa, what is going on here? Because at first I was putting videos up, and a couple hundred people were finding each video, and I was thinking, who are these 200 people who just watched my video?
Right.
You know, and then all of a sudden I had like 1 million views on this video called Greg Hits Hollywood, where I'm hitting people in the face with a microphone as I interview them. And so then I got my first several thousand subscribers at that time, and all of a sudden there were people who were waiting for my next video to go up. So I would put videos up as regularly as I could.
Yeah.
And then before I knew it, YouTube featured me again on the front page like a few months later with the pilot episode of the show that Kim starred in and wrote and produced. Gorgeous Tiny Chicken Mission.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's a lot of pressure, though, because you put up that initial video and it gets a lot of hits, and it's exciting. Hey, look at all these people watch my video. Oh, fuck, I got to do another one.
Yeah.
It's like Bon Jovi has Slippery When Wet. Now we got to do another record, and it's got to be good. So do you feel more pressure making the second one and the third one, or do you think that they're all as good as that first one?
They are better and better.
That's what I like to hear.
Every video is better.
But, it's funny, though, because I was watching some of your stuff again today, and like, you have 2 channels now, correct?
I have more than 2, but the 2 are the main channels that I
MediocreFilms 1 and 2.
Yeah,
okay.
MediocreFilms is my main channel, and then add the number 2 after.
And that's like because I saw the one today where you had a telemarketer call and you pretended like that you knew the person and you kept them on for like a minute and a half on the second channel. And
that was great.
And so is that more or less so that's just kind of more home video, like talking to the camera? Is that what the second channel is more or less about?
Second channel is more personal.
Okay.
My main channel is where a lot of people go to see just sort of the big stuff.
A little more like highly produced.
Yeah, it's a little better produced. I put more work into those videos, and I will put up usually 1 a week, sometimes 2 a week on my main channel. The second channel, I will put up as much as a video every day.
Wow.
When I feel like it. I did last month. This month, I think I've put up like 2 videos on that channel.
Okay.
But that's the more personal videos. Sometimes I do vlogs. I do travel stuff. It's all funny, at least I hope it is. But it can be just anything.
Smoke Plus.
It's also, exactly. So it's also just random, I call them douchebaggery videos.
Yeah.
Which are just like smaller pranks.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go into a frozen yogurt place, and I'll put a bunch of frozen yogurt in my hand and say thank you and walk out with it, and that'll be a video.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you also, because this prank wave on YouTube like blew up as well, and you got in on that as well pretty early, because I saw one of the big guys now it's one of the guys you slapped in the face with the microphone at VidCon. He's the guy who reminds me of Balky Bartakamus. Who's the big prank?
There are a lot of big prankers in that video. There's Prank versus Prank.
No, it's like
there's Ed Bassmaster. There's Jack Vale.
No,
these are all
Jack Vale. I know you work with, but this is the guy. Shit, I can't remember the guy's name.
Well, while you try to remember that, let me ask you this: a little bit more of a background. Did you always enjoy pranking and doing the punk kind of stuff to people, or is there a party that feels uncomfortable, or are you just gung ho as soon as you get in there?
No, I love it. And there is a part of me that feels a little uncomfortable sometimes. It depends on the prank. Some of them I'm really comfortable with, but. No, I've been.
You just get that little Remember when you were a kid and like you're hiding behind a wall and you
like
know
you
somebody's
feel like
going to be watching.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to jump in and scare this person. That person doesn't walk right away, and you're just waiting there and waiting. You're like, I'm going to blow. It's such a weird feeling.
Yeah, Vitaly was the guy.
hold it.
Vitaly, absolutely. Yeah, he's great.
But like this it's like this wave. The pranks really got big, and I think that you do have to you have to be fearless. I mean, because because even the one that I watched with you and Miles Gross today, who is another buddy of mine from Acme, which is fun. At the you guys go to Whole Foods, and it's really funny. You guys go check out on MediocreFilms. There's a video that they do where it's a prank. They go into Whole Foods and they basically give each other a list, and they can't look at each other's list, and they just give each just silly shit to ask the people who work there.
Yeah.
So you have to go through these lists and try not to laugh. First person who laughs loses, and first of all, how you guys don't laugh is beyond me because some of this stuff is just so insane. But
Yeah, we do laugh sometimes because it's hard to hold them back.
yeah, but it takes a bit. You hold. I mean, but again, I guess in the editing too, you want to make sure that it leads up to it if you're going to crack up for the moment and the timing because you're a comedian.
Especially
as well.
at Whole Foods, those people love their jobs. I don't
They
know
do.
where they find that brand of hippie, but they love working at Whole. That's like that's the show for them.
It is, but when you go up to these people, like, because sometimes someone's got a stink face on, and maybe that's more fun for you because they're going to give you more material. But you've also been like punched in the face, and you're hit.
I got punched in the throat.
In the throat, right?
Yeah,
right.
actually, which feels delightful.
Were they aiming
When
for
did
your
that
face?
happen?
And they just
What did you do?
Yeah, can you set that up for us? Like how that all go down?
I thought this prank was going to be pretty innocuous. Honestly, I was getting together with a couple
That's how
of
they all
prank
start.
buddies.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys actually from Pennsylvania who no, they're from Ohio. Roman Atwood and Dennis Rohde. They have a very successful prank channel, and we were going to go to Venice Beach, which is an area that I really hate pranking in because people can be pretty uptight for some reason and
there's
crazy.
some really muscular guys over
Yes,
there.
yeah,
Muscle
absolutely.
Beach.
Knives.
Well, every
Yeah.
homeless
Scary.
person lives there too. So.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't really enjoy pranking in Venice Beach.
Yeah.
But I had an idea that I ran to the grocery store. I picked up a bunch of ham, and I wanted to do the ham shoulder prank, where I just walk up to someone and go, "Hey, how you doing?" and leave a piece of ham on their shoulder after I pat them on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Now I thought that was innocuous. Like, what? Who's really going to get angry because I put a little piece of ham on?
Jewish guy.
I even well, yeah, I guess.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, maybe
The Jews may not.
maybe a Muslim. I don't know. Maybe.
Vegetarians.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm not
We're going to
forcing it in
stab
their
a
mouths.
cow in front of an Indian family and see what happens.
Eat this ham, asshole.
Okay, so maybe I didn't think it through. Yeah. So the first guy, he's the last guy in the video, but he's the first guy that I actually went up to on the day when we were shooting this thing.
Oh, okay.
And he was a
First
photographer.
guy. It was the first guy.
First guy.
And he
yeah.
punched you in the throat.
Yeah. And he got like upset, I guess.
Wait, so
I
you
guess
walk up, you put the ham, you say hello, ham on the shoulder.
Yeah,
and what?
I told him he was doing a great job because he's photographing he's photographing these two beautiful women, and I was like, man, great job here, congratulations. And he's like, oh, all right, thanks, man. And I patted him on the shoulder and I walked off, and then they were walking down the boardwalk, and I hear the guys go, oh, I guess, can I curse on this thing?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, they say, oh shit. Ha, I cursed. I said the SH word.
You did.
I love how a guy that's putting ham on random people's shoulders is like, I don't want to swear on the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the radio?
It's the radio worth watching.
And,
How about that?
yeah.
And there's
They can
video here
see
also.
you.
Yeah,
Boy,
there
the
is.
things you kids are doing
It's
nowadays.
the truth.
It is amazing.
All forms of reaching the people.
You get punched in the throat. What's
Yeah.
that?
So he
what
comes
is-
up to you. Does he turn you around? What happened?
No, he runs after him.
I don't
The guys are
understand.
like, "Oh shit, here he comes!" I'm like, "What's going on?" And quickly, the guys, Roman, who's got the camera, starts rolling, which is great because you got to get this stuff on video.
Yeah.
And the guy comes up and he's yelling at me, and I'm trying to explain to him, "No, it's just a ham shoulder prank. Like that's going to explain everything, and it'll make everything okay." And he comes up to me, and I think that we're just going to have, a conversation.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to yell at me a little bit, and I was going to apologize, and just the way that these things go. But instead, before there's any talking, bam, right in the throat.
And so
Luckily, open with an open hand, so it's more like a really fast.
Maybe he was trying to strangle you.
But it didn't feel good.
No, I'm sure. So how do you do you react to that like a all right, I deserved it, or a I want to kill this guy, or let's just get out of here?
It was such a surprise to
Yeah.
me that it happened because I'd never been hit before doing a prank. I mean, sometimes people get pissed off, they threaten to call the police, and you calm them down, or you find a way, or you just get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Or as I could say on this show, you get the fuck out of
You
there.
get the fuck right out of there.
But
the other was a curse word as well.
was it hell?
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
Just so you know.
Right.
I'm going to put the swear jar in front of you.
Yeah, all right.
But you kept ham shouldering people after
Yeah,
that.
Well, you had to have a video. I mean, I couldn't just do one guy. We had to go and put ham on a good half a
Now
dozen.
that you got
people.
punched, you were committed to it.
Yeah, we had to because we had the end of the video. I mean,
Right.
that's the end, and they're like,
That's a
"All right,
filmmaker. That's a filmmaker."
Yeah, you got the video, so we had to do it.
All right, so the pranks you actually you can tell that you love doing this stuff too when you're
have
doing the
fun.
pranks. You do love the pranks. Now, can you before we get out of the prank stuff? What was your favorite prank that you've ever done?
What I really like is the Deluxe Hugs prank, which is a prank on the Free Hugs guy.
Yeah.
There's a Free Hugs guy that hangs around. I've seen him a bunch of times in the Santa Monica Farmers Market. I don't know if he's still there, but he's always walking around with this Free Hug sign, and so I made a sign which said, Deluxe Hugs, $2. And I just stood next to the guy trying to sell hugs. And I stood next to him for like an hour. I kept following him around. He kept trying to lose me. He got more and more angry. And the greatest thing about it was, by the time the hour was up, I'd actually made $36.
No way.
No, really?
Yeah.
$36.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
What is included in a deluxe hug?
Well, you got to watch the video. You got to watch the video, don't you?
Is it a full body awkward hug like what I got from Stanley?
No, did Stanley give you that?
Like a full no.
Of course he did.
Part of the body was
Did you,
not touching.
did you pay Stan Lee $2 after?
No,
he-
I didn't.
No,
It was
sure.
free.
You didn't leave the money on the dresser?
It was free.
Oh, okay.
Stan Lee licked my neck. I just made that
After
up.
you hit him in the
I
face
made
with the
that. That's totally fabricated.
He's like, this neck tastes like a dude's fist.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you like, moving on from, because again, first of all, by the way, everyone else who has not seen, if you're not familiar with Greg, check out Mediocre Films on YouTube and definitely subscribe to that channel because
Thanks.
no, you should for sure. And because not only does he have these pranks, there's also a character in there that has become pretty famous for you, and that is Yesman.
Oh, I love
Yesman.
doing Yesman. A guy who also, in a different form, also he made his premiere, his debut on the Acme stage.
Is that true?
He used to be called Saul Bernstein.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and there was a sketch. Remember Jody Miller? I did a sketch with Jody Miller.
Yeah,
and-
friends. Yeah, absolutely.
And she played an adult film star or a porn actress, as they're known.
Yeah.
And you're familiar, of course.
We've had
Jody sometimes does that in real life.
Yeah, porn stars have graced
No.
Schmoville stage.
Yeah.
She did.
Oh,
I
that's
paid her
nice.
$2
Yes,
for a
that's
free
nice.
hug,
That's
though.
nice.
Yeah. I've had Ron Jeremy at my house.
Really?
Ron Jeremy fell asleep in my garage wearing a hedgehog hat.
That's
So-
awesome.
Do you have a picture?
Okay.
You know, amazingly, I don't. But I have video of him in the episode of Gorgeous Tiny that he starred in. But I did have Ron
that's
Jeremy at my
great.
house on a couple
Yeah.
of occasions.
Okay.
And one more Ron Jeremy story.
Please.
He came to the wrap party of Gorgeous Tiny, and as he left, he took with him a couple of bottles of sake. Thanks. Good night. I'm like, oh, you're just going to take? Well, I guess they were for the party. So
Yeah,
party's
he,
all right.
he was
that
paid.
was his prank
he
he
was
played
paid
on
in
you,
sake.
seeing
Yeah,
if he
I
could
guess it
walk
was.
out with bottles of
I actually saw the Ron Jeremy sake prank. It was pretty good. But let's go back. I want to talk more about
Yesman.
Yeah, because this guy, one of the reasons, because you get to do both pranking and a character with him.
Yes,
Because
yeah, he will be useful in pranks from time to time.
you love doing this guy.
He's this old, crotchety, insane man, and I absolutely love doing him.
Any chance he can visit us by voice in here?
Well, it's sad because you don't want to
can't do it without the costume.
see him. So maybe he could just show up a little bit. What do you want from me?
Yasmin, how do you feel about the woman that you're sitting next to right now?
She's a looker. I can tell. She may have a penis. I'm not sure.
Really?
I
Why
don't
would you
know.
say that?
I don't know if she has a penis or not.
Yasmin, that's
Yes,
not
but
very
if I
nice.
can just ask you, there's a big scoop in Hollywood today. Ben Affleck is going to be the new Batman. How do you feel about Ben Affleck playing Bruce Wayne?
Now, which one is Ben Affleck? Is he Matt Damon or the other one?
He's obviously not Matt Damon. He's the other one.
He's the other one that can act less.
He's that one?
Yeah.
He's the one who's the director, right?
Yes.
Did he direct the first Batman movie?
No.
The one with Danny DeVito?
That was not the first Batman.
That was the first one that they made back in '68. Don't correct me.
I apologize. I would never want to do that. I just want to say I'm a big fan of your work, and thank you for joining us.
I bet this camera's picking me up too, isn't it?
No, it's
No,
not.
you're good.
No, it's not. You are blocked off, sir. You're a magician.
I'm
I
safe.
liked it when you're like, you can't look at me while I'm doing this voice. I was like,
Yeah. Greg
I thought
Benson,
you were blocking Mark from looking at you.
mediocre film,
Wow.
and that was the great.
Proud
Yasmin,
to-
he's gone. He just
He
disappeared.
left. I didn't want to ruin the illusion, but Yesman was right here. He was here, and you guys missed it.
I loved that he was here. It was amazing. Yeah, because you've performed him live and a video that you posted as well.
Yeah, he appeared live and did a thing with Kevin Nealon at the Laugh Factory.
Now,
that
was that different
fun.
for you? Okay, so that's a question I wanted to ask because when you get there's two different performances when you're doing him because then when you go to do Comic-Con and stuff and interviewing people because the gag is that they're not going to know how to react to you. A lot of them think that he's a real dude.
Yes, a lot of them do.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Some people get really offended.
Yeah, that's the best part about the videos is when they get so offended. And then you go and you perform live, and the audience is in on the gag, but you get to still be him and get the laughs from the audience. What do you prefer more is there really no more one than the other? You know,
Just getting an awkward slap for a ham or an actual live crowd laughing.
But from
back
Yesman,
at
though.
you, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
like-
for Yesman, my favorite thing is to just have him go out and interact with people and really just mess with people. Because the great thing about Yesman is he can say absolutely anything and get away with it. He can say a bunch of stuff that I can't say to people, which is really, really fun. And just insult people just flat out to their face, and it's just fun.
Yesman can swear on terrestrial radio if he wants to. Is that name from something in your past?
No, it's just this random name that just sort of came up. I was trying to think of a
It's the
of a name
perfect
for
name.
him.
Do
for the
you
character.
tell people afterwards?
No.
You just walk
No,
away.
I usually just walk away.
But don't you have to get them? You don't have to get them to sign anything.
No. If the camera is visible and they know that they're being interviewed on camera, then it's perfectly legal. And it is an assumed release.
Oh, somebody write that down. That's big to know.
Good. We don't
Yeah. As long as
we're safe.
as long as it's obvious and they know that they're being interviewed on camera.
Oh, look at that. See, I'm
Christian
sure
makes me sign a release before every review we do.
That's not a release.
I mean, do people ask you questions about it after? Because from doing a lot of hosting, I'm like, if I was hitting someone in the face every question I was interviewing them, afterwards they'd be like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, well, that's often how those interviews stop. If I'm hitting someone in the face, after sometimes the third or fourth time, they'll go, all right, and then they walk away and they've just had enough of it.
Now, this I don't know if this is a touchy subject or not, but I thought of you immediately when I started watching Saturday Night Live.
Not touchy at all,
because there was I guess it came out after the scene that Bill Hader did a character to where he started hitting people in the face with the mic, and that came out after your videos.
I've been doing that bit since '93 or '94 because I had a sketch comedy show called Skip TV, which I did for public access TV in LA, and that's when I first started hitting people in the face with a microphone.
That's a pretty good timestamp.
Yeah. So I did do it first, but I don't know if they saw what I did or if they just happened to think of the same idea.
Yeah.
It happens all the time, In fact, I will tell you that I don't think that I've ever put up a video on YouTube where someone hasn't said something to the effect of like, "You stole this from," bleh, and then they named something that I've never heard of.
If you think I'm not ham-shouldering people this weekend,
I'm going to do it with the Joshy intern before we get out of here.
But I did steal the ham shoulder thing. But that was actually an ode to the only funny moment, and you guys should know this because the schmoes know movies. Come on, what movie is it a reference to?
Oh, shit.
You sons of bitches don't even know.
We don't know.
old
We don't know
ham
anything.
shoulder.
I don't know this ham shoulder.
It is the
Are we old?
only funny moment in Caddyshack 2.
Oh, you
That's
know,
why.
I refuse to watch it. We both. I know.
The movie tortured me. I remember nothing funny about that
Yeah.
movie,
You
and
can't-
I'm
you
glad
can't
I don't
blame us
remember
for not
it.
knowing that.
Yeah, Chevy Chase.
If it was the first one, I
Chevy
would've
Chase
left, I
at
suppose.
the club. It's a party, and there's someone he doesn't like, and he's eating a piece of turkey or something, and he just pats someone on the shoulder. And leaves.
Then that's a great.
That movie is one big just.
It is.
Ham
Well,
sitting on my shoulder. It's just I just get it off.
When we come back from,
Just
we got to
get
go break in a second. But when we come back from break, I want to talk to Greg about some of your comedic influences and people that you. I mean, Chevy Chase obviously seems like one. Maybe he wasn't. We'll find out soon. But I also want to talk about Retarded Policeman because that is to this day, is that your biggest view? View getter?
Yeah, there are a couple of episodes of Retarded Policeman that have the biggest views of any of my
It's
videos.
sitting at like 14
There's
million.
some stuff like the first time I saw that I worked at Joel Silver's company, Silver Pictures, and the first time I saw that I passed it around the office religiously, and because when they see it initially, even you did today, when you see it you go, oh, I don't know if I can watch that, but then no, he's in on it, he's in it, watch it, and I want to talk about that more, and this is what for Schmoville should do during the break. Go ahead and type it on YouTube, Retarded Policeman. Watch that. We're going to talk about it after the break.
Subscribe to Mediocre Films.
Absolutely. Greg Benson, Mediocre Films, Schmoes No Podcast, Tiffany Smith, Mark Ellis, Christian Arloff. We'll be back right after the break.
The stars can be so blinding when you get tired of fighting. You know the one you can look to. When no vision you have gets blurry, you don't have to worry. I'll be around.
Tiff, hear about this one. You should. You should be listening to this.
I'm never going to
There's
get
no
them.
way you're going to get this.
You can get this, Tiff. I believe in you. There you go.
Schmoville will get it. Schmoville always gets it before anyone of you guys do.
Is this what the audience is hearing right
Yeah.
now? Why are they listening to that?
Because they chose
Because
it. They chose the music.
Christian picked it.
No, I did not pick it. The audience picks it every Wednesday and Thursday. I ask them to pick
I have
some.
no idea.
Is this the part of the show when people kill themselves?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is from First Blood.
It is?
Yes, it is the Rambo theme, and it's First Blood, and
This
because
song is so bad.
It's an 80s song.
It's really bad.
I love how that's your
Yeah.
defense. It's an 80s song.
Have you ever talked about how bad the movie Rocky Balboa is?
It's
on
not
this
that
show?
bad.
Oh
The
my
last
God!
one?
The whole movie.
No.
We need to talk
Let's
about
talk
it.
about it.
It's
Oh
not
my
as
God.
bad as Rocky 5.
Look at
which never
JTI
existed.
just sprung out of his chair. Hey, come here, JTI. We're gonna. All right, you know what? Here we go. This is a debate between Greg Benson from
needs to
Mediocre
happen.
Films
Oh,
and
man.
our intern
Oh,
JTI.
man.
Yeah.
Greg Benson, our guest, has the floor first. Go ahead, Greg.
No, well, we were just talking about how that song was what from First Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song, and I was saying like, why are we listening to this? Is this the portion of the show when the audience kills themselves? And then we started talking about, and I said, have you ever talked on the show about how bad the movie Rocky Balboa is? And then I got all this like, whoa, you can't say that.
No, what? Why do you believe?
The whole movie is Sylvester Stallone going, hey, you remember in the first movie how when I met Adrian, and do you remember we kissed over here? Hey, do you remember that fight we had in the second movie? I mean, the whole thing is just him talking about what happened in the other movies.
And you didn't like the fight at the end?
Oh, man.
who the hell needs it?
All right, so JTI, what's your counter?
Come on.
First of all, do you even like the original Rocky films?
Absolutely. I love the first one especially. That's
okay,
a great
especially
movie.
the first one. I think this one complements the first one very nicely. So I'm having trouble even coming up with why you would have a problem with this film.
Because
I can
the whole
see
time
steam
it's like,
coming out of
hey,
his voice.
He sprung off the chair like he was ready to fight.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He was pretty upset, but I want to set the tail of the tape here because this is kind of like a Rocky Apollo story. We got 100 million video views over here. We got a nice handful of people that have seen your channel, Josh. And so just the fact you're stepping in the ring against
It's
Mr. Benson,
impressive.
it's a credit to you. Did you have 5 raw eggs right before
He's
you
not
came
afraid
to
to
the show?
get punched
Listen,
in the throat.
This is Apollo. Yeah, this is Apollo Creed versus Rocky.
No, the problem I have with that movie is it over reminisces. It's like it just keeps reminiscing about the past, and it literally is. You remember that scene? And then they show flashbacks, and they're in black and white because, of course, the past wasn't
Hold on.
in color.
There's no flashbacks. There are no flashbacks till the final scene of the film, and they're very quick. And it's like during the fight, it's like fighter remembering what his coach told him, his trainer Mickey.
You
And
tell me
also,
there's not a bit where he flashes
he
back
talks
to like
about
kissing
his-
Adrian in the doorway. Hey, remember that
No,
doorway
there's not a
there?
scene like that.
Remember?
Some
I think it
people
was
call it
Talia.
kissing. Other people call it date rape.
It's a guy
Yeah.
reflecting on his life and missing the one that he fell in love with, who died. I have some compassion.
Have you been listening to this interview? He is getting off on how revved up you're getting. Right?
It is fun.
I wish Bobby Finstock was here to back me up.
Bobby Finstock would be.
Yeah, he would be here.
All right, so that was.
I
fun.
feel like JTI is going to go home and watch it tonight and be like, he's right.
No
He's so
way.
right.
No way.
You
gonna
just
send
watch
angry
the movie
letters.
again and just keep in mind, just watch it just for the reminiscing. Hey, you remember that time when we? And he's like, I don't know what's wrong with Stallone, but is he retarded now? Because the guy can barely.
I'm on JTI's side there.
Are you?
Yeah. The fifth one is an abomination to
The fifth one never
human
happened.
beings.
It doesn't. It does not exist.
I like the last one. I thought that it was a good tie up to the fact. I mean, you didn't have to do. It's a little silly that he was able to hang with that guy at the end, but the movie itself was just such a savior. I guess because 5 was so bad that I liked. It took you back to roots. It just didn't throw him in the gutter. He was a little more stable.
You know what was great about Rocky Balboa? The trailer for Rocky Balboa. Because it comes on, and it's only 2 minutes long, and you just see, you're like, oh, that's the guy. And then you have Apollo's trainer saying, let's put on some hurting pound. And you got Paulie being Paulie again. Like, Paulie, how many times has he doubted Rocky? And every time Paulie's like, Rocky, you can't do it. I guess he could.
Yes, okay. I will agree. It has a good trailer, and that's why I saw the damn movie.
Yeah, it got your. It
got
your
me,
15
and
bucks.
it
just
tricked
let you
me.
go. All right, so you're not thrilled to see a spin-off film because they're talking about they're going to do Apollo Creed's grandson is going to have his own movie. Creed is the name of the film,
and Rocky will
He's gonna
appear.
be a
Sylvester
trainer.
Stallone will be in the film as Rocky, who will probably be telling a lot of stories about when he was
This
a
is
fighter.
true.
Wow, I don't know anything about that, but I did see Grudge Match.
Which one was that? Grudge Match.
Grudge Match is Stallone and De Niro.
Oh wait, you saw it already?
I saw it, and I can't talk about it.
Oh well, come on.
That's all I can say.
Then why would you do that? See, now you're JTIing us right now. It's not.
What did JTI see that we can't?
No,
tell us about?
I'm saying the way he just fucked with JTI for like 5 minutes. He was doing
now
that
you feel like we're JTI.
Yeah, it's like me telling you, hey, I just saw Thor, and dude,
yeah.
It's like, you're a son of a bitch.
Guys, he's also a prankster. Maybe he's
I
right.
know.
I feel like I wouldn't
maybe I
believe
didn't
anything
see
that
it.
came out of your mouth.
Yeah,
No,
maybe I
actually,
didn't see it.
It's the truth. All right, let's get back.
He
I do
actually
want to talk.
saw Batman versus Superman already.
No, we did not. But that movie, Grudge Match, by the way, we were talking about that at what the hell was last thing? D23 when we were there. A comedy with those two. No, thank you. It's a comedy, right? Can you say that?
I can't answer that.
You can say if it's a comedy or not.
That would be me giving an opinion.
No, it's not. That would be a fact. Is if it's a comedy.
Some people might find it to be a comedy. Some might not.
The answer is I don't know.
I hate you so much. All right, let's go.
It's a very valid answer.
It's a great answer.
No, it isn't. Wait, you said you saw. You don't know what it's supposed. All right, fine, we'll talk about it in a couple months.
Everything with those guys scares us now a little bit, like Escape Plan with Schwarzenegger and Stallone. Am I excited to see those guys? Yeah, but it's kind of like when your grandparents get together and you're going out to eat in public and you're worried about what they're going to say.
Well, I mean,
like, what sort of racial epithets
Expendables.
don't fly anymore?
Like, I feel like when the Expendables came out, everyone was like, is this supposed to be funny? And then you're watching it and you're like, this movie is so funny. And then the next time they're like, let's make it a legit comedy this time because they realized how funny it was.
I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was awesome.
I thought the
funny.
funniest part about Expendables 2 was when Chuck Norris just walked in and he had here's my cameo, and then okay, that's the end of my cameo, and he walked out.
That was it. And
hey guys, not so much
good.
gun violence the second half. Cool. All right, see ya.
Yeah, they were going to make that whole movie PG-13. That's what I love about Stallone, because Chuck Norris wouldn't do the movie unless it was PG-13. He's like, yeah, we'll do it PG-13, and then they made it R, and he's like, fuck you. Yeah. So, all right, let's get away from movies first. I will come back to it because I do want to talk.
I just love how both of your Stallones sound like drunken,
but that's what he sounds
slurry,
like.
Like this. Oh, I was going to say that.
But Vin Diesel is starting to sound like that too.
No.
Yes, he is.
Vin Diesel is going to sound exactly like that when he's
Stallone.
Stallone.
He can say anything he wants, and he sounds incredibly sexy.
He pretty much sounds like this.
I don't care. He can say whatever he wants to me, and I will be like, yes.
Well, how about we have Rocky stop reminiscing, and let's have Greg start to do a little bit of that, because I want to know you're this very popular prankster now. You're a big YouTube celebrity. You're a very funny individual. You're a married man. I don't know how that happened, but congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Who were the earliest comedic influences for you, my boy? Who was, when you're a little kid sitting in front of the TV, who's making you chuckle?
Monty Python's Flying Circus. Oh my God! Nothing funnier in the world than Monty Python's Flying Circus. Nothing funnier than the Marx Brothers when they were like in the best of their films. Oh my God, the Marx Brothers. Steve Martin, his stand-up stuff back in the 70s, early 80s. Awesome. His TV specials, so funny.
Yeah.
So funny. Richard Pryor and George Carlin back in the 70s.
Were you the kid in school who saw Monty Python first in your class, and so then you had to go explain to everybody else like how funny it was? And then you're like, no, but you got to watch it like twice or three times because you're not going to pick up all the words right away. Their British accents are thick, so watch it a few times. See, we promise you'll love it.
Yeah,
watch it
when
talk.
when I was a kid, you couldn't watch something more than once because they just had TV. That's how old I am. There was I remember when we got our first VCR. Like, whoa, we have a video cassette recorder.
That's what your kid said?
Yeah, there you go. But no, I lived in Dallas. I grew up in Dallas, and that, oddly enough, is the city where PBS debuted Monty Python's Flying Circus to America. So Dallas, Texas got Monty Python's Flying Circus before anywhere else in the country.
Wow.
And I was there watching it right when it started because my dad saw a teaser for it and said, ooh, this looks funny. We have to watch this. And we were hooked from the first episode.
So was Monty Python like your Star Wars? Like
Absolutely. I used to put a tape recorder by the TV so I could just audio record it and listen to the sketches over and over. I was absolutely enthralled
old
with.
in time.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just DVR it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's funny too because I think you can see that from your sketches too, from a lot of the ones that you do. You have that. I get a British. You have a very British sense
There's
of
an
humor
irreverence.
as well,
there's a. It doesn't exactly have to be linear or sensical.
Yeah. There's a lot of nonsense.
When you're pranking somebody, because that's the great thing about a prank is that they just don't understand what's going on. But
not even
funny.
just his pranks though. In his regular sketches as well too. Or even again, if we want to tie it back to Retarded Policeman, because you wrote all of those, correct?
I wrote almost all of them. Yeah. I created the show with Kim, my wife.
Okay.
We're driving around one day, and we would always throw ideas for sketches back and forth. And she said, "What if we had a sketch about a retarded policeman?" And bam. A series was born.
Wait, so you didn't know? And Danny is his name?
Ponce. His name is Ponce. The Ponce Man.
Oh, okay,
Josh Perry.
why did I think his name was Danny
Ponce?
Ponce?
Perry is the actor.
Okay, so did you know him beforehand, or you guys auditioned him?
Yeah, no, we knew him because he was the brother of a filmmaker that I met through MySpace. Back to the whole MySpace thing.
That's
yeah,
funny.
and I saw his brother's stuff, which was very good, and Josh, the Ponce Man Perry, starred in his brother's stuff. And when Kim said, "What if we had a sketch about a retarded policeman?" I said,
I know a guy.
Could we cast a real mentally disabled guy in the role?" And she went, "No." She was thinking we'd use like Miles,
right?
Because our friend Miles
Yeah.
had already played a mentally disabled, like he played my mentally disabled brother in this one thing. But I was like, I think this actually calls for, if we're going to call it Retarded Policeman, then we should use like a real mentally disabled guy. And he has Down syndrome, which is a mental disability, and he's a very good actor. And I asked his brother, I said, "Do you think your brother would want to do this?" He's like, "Yeah, hell yeah." So I wrote the first three scripts.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's very good. So I wrote the first three scripts. We shot them in one day and put them up, and it was an immediate hit. Like, it just kind of took off right away.
Yeah.
And then when the three were done, I was thinking three was going to be enough, but then when the three were done, viewers were writing comments like, "When are we going to get more? We want more episodes."
How many have you done so far?
Like 35,
Holy
something
shit.
like that. We've done way too many.
How do you know with your comedy and the sketches what is too far? Like in that case where you're like, is this going to offend people or is this cool? We're going to keep pushing.
You know, I'm not really concerned about offending people because I have no control over what offends someone else. Right now, if I were, just to say, "You're fat," I mean, that would like really offend you. You're not fat, by the way. But I mean,
You said it to me.
I would just laugh. I would just laugh.
Ellis used to be fat. We would think you were talking to him.
Yeah.
No, that's why I was looking at you, but I was thinking of him.
Yeah.
He was aiming it at me.
No, but you never know what's going to offend somebody,
Right.
and I could do, again, like I could put a ham on someone's shoulder, and I
Get
had
punched
no
in
idea
the
that it would
neck, right.
offend them so much they'd punch me in the throat.
Have you ever done something you're like, "Oh shit, I did cross the line," or did you feel bad about it afterwards?
Yes.
Which one?
I had a show called Celebrity Sock Puppet Theater. That was another one of my series, and I did like half a dozen episodes of that. And I really enjoyed it. It's a little sock puppet show.
Is it still
shot
up
in
on your
front of
channel
green screen. Oh yeah, it's up there. And it would be about celebrities. Obviously, the first one I did was with Chris Brown and Rihanna after their fight in the car. Great episode.
Yeah.
I highly recommend you guys watch that.
Is that the one where you felt like you went too far?
No, the one where I felt maybe I shouldn't have put it up because timing is everything was the week after Michael Jackson died. I did a retrospective of his life, as told by sock puppets. And I thought it was kind of respectful in a way and funny because it just kind of covered all of the tabloid stories,
Right.
all the things you heard about him.
Dropping kid out the window.
Yeah, just one thing after another. I mean, just with everything, starting with the Jackson 5 up through, the end.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny. A lot of people thought it was funny, but man, did I get a lot of hate for that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
But did it, now, it's funny. So you got a lot of hate, but did you see your numbers go up from that? I'm curious.
Well, a lot of people watched it.
Well, yeah,
a lot of people watch it.
Controversy breeds success.
I mean, they say there's no bad publicity, but still, I don't want to. I mean,
You don't
listen,
want to
I'm
feel
not in
icky
the.
about it.
Yeah, I'm not in the business of pissing people off.
No,
I don't want to.
you were
piss
legitimately
people off.
doing it because you thought it would be funny. And it
Yeah,
would
I
be
just
a good
thought it's
skit.
funny.
Yeah,
it's
but-
like, why is it okay to make fun of a guy while he's alive for decades? Just
Right.
making fun of this guy on the news, and then all of a sudden he dies, and this very respected, artist died today. And it's like, why did you make fun of him yesterday? But today you're not.
Yeah, this
Well,
is
and
the
it's
first
totally
day he
like-
can't hear us making fun of him
Right,
anymore.
yes.
Well, and it's
because
very much
today's
like
sadness sells.
Family Guy and stuff where it's like, embrace it. And you were doing it almost paying homage to him, and that's your way of doing it.
Sure, that's the way that I looked at it.
I just helped
Do you
you
read
out
all
on
the
that one.
comments you got? Are you attached to the new comments that come in, or do you just kind of?
I will read comments the first day a video goes up just to see how people like it. And then after the first day, I don't read them.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it just gets a little maddening. But the first day I'll read, like if there's 300 comments the first day, I'll pretty much read all of them.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're here with Greg Benson, Mediocre Films. Call in at 323-622-8623, especially if you have a YouTube channel out there. If there's anything you want to ask Greg about how he started, what he's working on next, and we will. I wanted to talk to Greg also about some movies because you're a movie guy too. You're a big fan of films as
I
well.
like movies.
You do.
You know
movies.
what? I like to watch movies.
Yeah.
That's what I like about them.
You like watch them?
I like to watch movies.
As long as it doesn't have Rocky and Balboa in the title, he is a huge
he's
fan of film.
All right, well, let's talk about movies in a second. We have a call from Schmoville. Hey, you're in Schmoville. Who do we got?
Hey, this is Trey from San Antonio.
Trey, what's up, dude? So you got a question for Greg?
Fellow Texan. Hey, Trey.
Hello, yes. I'm trying to get my YouTube channel started. I'm more of a movie reviewer kind of guy, but what can you recommend to kind of get it going?
I recommend that you quit. I really just don't care for your style. Sorry. Click next. No. What can I recommend you get to you listen? The main thing is you put up videos regularly. This may sound like a weird thing to say, but make sure that they're good videos, especially in the beginning.
There's quality, editing.
Quality.
Yeah.
Put as much work into them as you can.
Look good on camera.
Try to look good, and just have fun with what you're doing. Those are sort of the basics.
All right, Trey. Thank you for the
guys.
call.
Good, big fan.
Sure. Oh, thanks. Good luck.
All right, let's take one more call here from. Hey, you're in Schmoville. Who do we got?
Hey, what's up, guys? Southie Crackboy Raul from Boston reporting for duty.
All right, man. So you got Greg Benson
call.
here from Mediocre Films. You got anything for him?
What's up, Boston?
Yeah, basically, I am starting my own YouTube channel, and actually, I also want to give thanks to both you guys, Mark and Christian, because it's also part movie reviewers, part comedy. It is just like a clusterfuck of awesome.
Nice.
Of the internet.
That usually sells.
I don't think you need advice from
that
us.
should just be under your YouTube title
And
page.
I just, I have everything, so I just want to know if you guys could, give me any tips and just make sure it's I don't want to make it number one, but just people watch it and enjoy it.
What type of videos are you making?
I'm planning on doing a little bit of everything, know what sells, random sketches, reviews.
That's Greg's department.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I think the biggest mistake that I made was doing a little bit of everything, and I think that the more you can narrow down what you want to do, and it's okay if it takes you a little time, but if you want to experiment and then sort of narrow down what you do best and what your audience enjoys, then that's going to serve you best. And people aren't going to just automatically find your videos. A few hundred might, but the main thing is you're going to want to try to promote your stuff as much as you can on the internet. Try to find bulletin boards and places where people might be interested in the content that you're making, and put up the links and ask people to go watch it.
And you can't get a better tag than clusterfuck of awesome.
That's true. Right. Thank you. Thanks for the
Make sure
call.
you're wearing protection in that clusterfuck.
No problem.
His call makes me, Greg. So another thing is too, because we get that question a lot too on our channel, and I mean, look, we're only at 61,000 right now. You're at almost 800,000, close to it.
Yeah, more than that.
More than that. Yeah. All right. So now, the reason I asked that, when you were starting out, one of the things we always say is try to collaborate with other people.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Collaborations with other YouTubers, especially other popular YouTubers, people who have as many subscribers as you do, maybe even more.
Yeah. So you've collaborated with Phil DeFranco. I mean, a lot of people. Though,
a lot of people.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And so is that how would you recommend people go ahead and contact other people and try to, because I don't know how you got involved with some of those guys, but I know it's probably at that level you probably had a lot of subscribers and you could reach out. How would someone with a lower subscriber base go out and reach to someone that could help them out?
That's an excellent question, because it gets tough.
I wrote it.
I just feel like it got very serious. That is an excellent
It's an excellent question.
Well, I mean,
no, but it's a tough question because
it's a business after all.
It is a business, and so there has to be some sort of mutual benefit for each channel. So if you have 60,000 subscribers, you're not going to want to reach out to somebody who's got 1 million subscribers. Right. You don't want to reach out to someone else who has around 100,000 subscribers. And there's plenty of other channels like that. And you're going to want to reach out to someone who has a similar audience to you. You don't want to reach out to a health and beauty channel,
right?
You know what I mean? So basically, you can go into
maybe
YouTube.
They do.
Maybe we do.
Yeah. Hey, do you like eating plants? Watch these two guys.
Well, the whole idea is you want for their audience to come over and subscribe to your channel, and you want for your audience to go over and subscribe to their channel, because you want to have pretty similar stuff, something that complements each other. Right. So start watching other channels that have about the same amount of subscribers as you. Start contacting them through YouTube, or just do a little research, find out their websites, find out their emails, and just drop them a line and say, this is what I do. I'd love to collaborate with you. And if you have an idea for a collaboration, then put it in the message to them, and that's just how you start the whole thing.
Well, and there's so much stuff now where you hear, networks are coming to YouTubers to start pitching shows. And for you, is that something that would be a goal? Or are you at this point, no, I just want to stay on YouTube? Because
you've sold
it's
stuff
such
through
a
YouTube, though, haven't you?
Well, I have, not really TV stuff, but I've done a lot of director for hire work, and I've worked directly with brands to do branded videos and all kinds of stuff like that. But No, absolutely. I would not push TV deals away or anything. I've gotten some nice connections that way.
Yeah, and and I think what's so great about it is that you can take a job like that working for a studio or a network or whatnot, but then you have the comfort of you will still work for yourself.
Yeah,
with your channel too, and because
that's the great thing about YouTube is there's no boss other than yourself.
Right.
It's like a game of tag. You can go out to these other places, but you always have base. And just go back to YouTube. Then I can do whatever the hell I want. Here, there's somebody telling me what to do.
Well, it's like YouTube is doing something right when there's companies that just manage YouTube personalities.
Yeah, there's tons. Are you with the network?
No,
you're not.
I'm not. I've always been independent.
You've always been independent.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mediocre Film started with just you and Kim.
Yeah.
How many people do you have working for you now?
Well, I have a full-time editor working with me now,
okay,
which is great. And then I work with friends. And then whenever we have a job that comes along that actually has a budget, whether it's a branded video or a director for hire or a series or whatever, then I can hire a whole team. We've got a full crew, and we can go shoot in studios and all sorts of things. Otherwise, sometimes, like the video I put up this week, I'm just going and interviewing people, but I'm not letting them talk. I'm basically shutting them up. That requires no one but a shooter.
Yeah.
And my editor Joe is also my shooter, so he shoots for me.
And so,
a lot of the time.
And you did you did the Adam Sandler thing too. I noticed to where you have a lot of your friends, and it works for you because a lot of them were comedians from the Acme, so it's beneficial. Like Miles Gross, by the way. Now is Miles in L.A. now?
He moved back to L.A. about 2 years ago, and so we have been working together a lot. He and I co-produced this latest series that we did, a 20-episode series called Positively Pranked, which was a series that we did in conjunction with another channel, and that was a funded series. So
great.
Yeah, which was really cool.
Wow. Well, good for you, man.
Yeah, that's why Miles appears in so many of those, and he's hilarious.
He's hilarious. So that brings me to one, because Miles Gross and Greg and I were in the Acme Comedy Theater a long time ago, but there was a sketch we did called Daddy Knows Best.
Oh, yeah.
I have been trying to get you to do this for years.
It's so politically incorrect.
Incorrect.
It's a lot of fun, actually.
But it did well. It did well. And this one skit that we wrote, and it was basically where Greg played the father of a daughter of this girl that I took out, and some of the shit that he just said, and because Brett Sheridan, my buddy, and I wrote this thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's got to be Benson. He's got, and he looked at it, because I remember when he looked at it, he was like, all right, what do you got? And then we looked, and he's like, I want to do this. And we just, that was one of the most fun. What was the thing? It's like, we were talking about fat girls.
Yeah.
And he looks, and he's like talking about this big fat girl, and he looks at me, and I go, well, sir, my sister's fat. He's like, oh, no, thank you, Eddie. I'm long past those days now. And it's just like this whole, it was just
is this viewable somewhere?
It is. Brett Sheridan has it, the actual performance.
Really?
Yes, but I've talked to Greg. I'm still gonna break. I want to get him to do it again, because I thought you were so good in that role. But I had to bring it up because Adam Winkleman reminded me of it before, and we had to. Daddy Knows Dearest.
I have
best.
I have kind of like an all-encompassing question. I like asking this about performers and other people in similar professions to what we do. You're at like one of these shitty dinner parties that are really highfalutin and fancy, or you're talking to people you haven't seen in 20 years, and they ask you, "Hey, so what are you up to? What do you do for a living?"
Yeah.
Whenever I drop saying you're a comic is bad enough, but when you say, "Oh, I'm on YouTube," they look at you like you're from outer space still. They're like,
they don't get it yet.
Wait, no. I didn't ask you what your hobby is.
Right.
What is your employment? You're like, fucking YouTube.
Yeah, then he looks at me. Then he looks at me and goes, I'll get the check. That's what he says.
Well, you always get the exact same question. And you know the question.
Yeah.
How do you make money doing that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you always get that question.
It's like half jealousy and half like actual curiosity.
Yeah,
like,
look,
how are you? You get to be at home?
I was working when I was a producer on The Bachelor. I don't know if Shmo ever knew that. I just told everybody. And when I was
those of you listening at home, you have no idea how
Yeah.
brave Christian Harloff is.
That's
right
right.
now.
I was, but I was working there, and I was always just talking about schmoes all the time. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be leaving. They're like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, schmoes. I'm like, you making money doing that? I'm like, I've been doing this for a little bit now. And they're like, you can make money on YouTube
with
and
Mark Ellis?
You get it. You literally. So I mean, you still probably. I mean, you're like, I have 15 million views. What is that? What's the most you have on one video view wise?
I think that well, of course, the boobies episode of Retarded Policeman is. I think it has about 20 million views.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
well deserved.
Now, have you been on Kimmel or any your videos? Or I'm shocked if no.
No, those videos haven't, but I have been in some Kimmel sketches.
Okay,
yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like, you in general have been on. Like,
I've been over there, but then it's not really related. I just got in there.
They didn't find you from your channel?
No, I don't believe so.
Wow, that's shocking to me. I would see because a lot of those, and that's shocking that more people haven't found you from that. Because again, I think that the medium of YouTube, especially more talent and more shows are going to be coming out of there too. Because and when you look back at it, guys like yourself and Phil DeFranco are going to be like the pioneers of because you guys really started. You did. They started 5 minutes. Right.
That's the other thing, though, is that YouTube. You always talk about reps and getting as many videos up there as possible. But it's not just for your channel. It's also for you as a performer, learning how to do this craft. So when you do get called in for something random, like Kimmel's looking at people, then you walk in and you're not worried about it.
Yeah, well, also, just the fact that I have created this body of work that's on YouTube and is public, and I have, honestly, I've about 1,000 videos that I've uploaded, which is insane. So now that I know that I have all these videos, when I get a call saying, oh, we're looking for somebody who can do this sort of thing, I think, boy, I did something like that back in like 2009. I did another one in 2011. I'll send them those links.
Yeah.
And it's that easy, and it's really great.
Yeah, and that's what we're able to do now, too, because it's... Again, for when we were with Fandango and Movies.com, they wanted to see some of our work, and you send them some reviews and some of our top lists, and it's fun. Are
you guys funny? Just send them the Sex and the City 2 review.
Yeah,
it usually works every time.
Yeah, it's just us laughing.
Well, and speaking of like getting the views and the numbers and all that stuff, how do you kind of pull yourself out of it to not get sucked in where you're constantly checking your phone to see how many views it has or how many people have commented? Do you get sucked into that at all?
Sometimes, but I mean, sucked in is a great term for that because it's like a downward spiral because you really want to focus on the creative and just go and have fun creating comedy. You know, you don't really want to. I feel you don't want to spend too much time focusing on the business aspect. Well, you have to a little because it's important.
Yeah, and are there other things that you do? Like you said, you only read the comments on the first day and then you're done.
Yeah.
Are there other rules that you have for yourself to kind of keep it just focused on the creative side of things?
Yeah, like what about writing? Like when you're going to do because I don't know if you have a plan like what the board is on MediocreFilms. Like, okay, we're going to do a sketch on next Thursday. When do you start writing it? Like, what's the process? You know what I mean?
Well, the process changes every single week or with every single video. Sometimes I'll be able to go out and I'll shoot 3 pranks in a day, and other times I'll spend a week shooting one sketch.
Yeah.
It's always different. But
it's such a funny channel too. Let me get because it is a Schmoes No Movies podcast. Let me get. You have like a top 3, or like a top 5 movies of all time. You're kicking around in your head that you got.
Oh, of course.
Can't say Monty Python this time because you already said it.
I already said that.
I'll give him one Monty Python movie. Though.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, that's fair.
You know, The Graduate has always been my favorite movie. I absolutely love The Graduate. I love every second about The Graduate. It's just amazing. I would put The Muppet Movie in my top 5.
Yeah, great one.
I adore The Muppet Movie.
Rocky Balboa.
Being There with Peter Sellers.
Wow.
Being There is one of my favorites. These are all movies are a little bit old.
Yeah, but they're classics.
Yeah,
classics.
I don't know about.
I kind of
see it.
You know what? A movie that I just keep watching over and over
should have been nominated. Sorry, Peter Sellers should have been nominated or should have won for being
won.
there.
Oh, he totally should have.
He did not win.
He didn't win, and it killed him.
Yeah, it
literally killed him.
It murdered him, Tiffany.
You know what? I'm going to have to make a Peter Sellers Celebrity Sock Puppet Theater episode now.
Awesome.
Is it too soon? I can't tell. Is it too soon?
I think so. You got one more for us?
Groundhog Day. I watched that over and over. I love Groundhog Day.
That's a great one.
Great. You watched Groundhog Day over.
Yeah. I have the soundtrack. It's just I Got You, Babe, over and over and over.
It's a nice mix. It's a nice mix. I like it. Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure to have Greg in the studio. Thank you for joining us today. It was
my pleasure.
The fans are happy to hear us again because we have a lot of people who want to know how to do this stuff, and it's very insightful.
He's a very nice boy, and he makes his money on the internet. And I don't know how he does it.
How do you do that?
Did they send you checks? I don't get it.
So the Schmoville can find you obviously youtube.com/MediocreFilms or MediocreFilms2, as well as at MediocreFilms. Is there anything else that you got going on that you want to?
I've got a Facebook.com/MediocreFilms.
You said something about MySpace.
Is the Are you still on the Friendster?
You know what? I never did delete my MySpace page. So
I
if
don't
you
think
want to go
anyone
and
has.
friend me on MySpace, you can.
Have you checked it?
No, I have not checked it, and I won't.
So weird that
Nobody got upset.
Guys,
It was like, fuck
Justin
MySpace.
Timberlake
Still
is
there.
working on MySpace. Just putting it out there.
We'll see.
trying.
Guys, it has been a very fun show tonight. I would like to thank Zachary Levi for calling in. That was a lot of fun. Can't wait to have Katie Sackhoff on in 2 weeks. And the next week is RJ Mitty from Breaking Bad. Very excited to have him on the show. Make sure that you follow Tiffany Tweets at Tiffany's Tweets. And every Saturday on YouTube.com Schmoes Know, you can check out Stacked, her comic book show. It is awesome. You can check us out, YouTube.com/Schmoes Know. And we have just started putting the old podcasts on the YouTube channel. So if you want to check out like the first 30, 40 episodes when we were on Podbean, make sure you subscribe to Schmoes Know, and you can get all of those. And Marcus, you got something?
Yeah, we missed
getting really
Josh
weird
the
faces
Wildman
lately.
McCouga tonight. Sorry he could not be here. He's hosting an event downtown. But tomorrow night at the M Bar in Hollywood, he's going to be hosting his show Between the Sheets, and I will be co-hosting with him live. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And he also, on his Casual Mafia channel, just put out the Between the Sheets show.
Oh, yeah, the interviews.
The
And
inaugural
who
show
was
is
his
you.
first guest?
It would be you.
Mark Ellis was.
All right, guys.
You can almost see all the way up my shorts to my balls. Check it out.
Kenny, you got a show on at this tonight?
Gosh.
We're replaying the Mark Riley episode of the Knapsack.
Oh, great. So the Knapsack Files will be on right after this. If you want to just keep tuning in to Toad Hop, you hear Mark Riley, our editor-in-chief of
Mark
Schmo.
Riley's very excited about this.
Light up another doobie and keep it on Toad Hop.
Our editor-in-chief of schmoesknow.com will be on the Knapsack Files, so check that out. Thank you so much. For Greg Benson, Tiffany Smith, Mark Ellis, it's the Schmoes Know Podcast. Peace out, Mother Fs.